NHL broadcasting live in Las Vegas. The rest of the week, we'll be here Wednesday, today, Thursday, and Friday in advance of the San Francisco 49ers and the Kansas City Chiefs coming up this weekend. Looking forward to covering this matchup and talking extensively about it. Our thanks to Low T Center for helping make this happen. And you can get more information online, 1045thezone.com. We're going to hold the intros for just a little bit. Brent Doherty. Ron Slay next to me.
That's right.
Don Davenport, luckily
What's up?
across the table from me, not within arm's reach.
What are you talking about?
I don't know. You're kind of fired
Going
up
on
sometimes.
just a couple hours sleep.
Yeah.
That's a little scary.
And we've got three-time Super Bowl champion Ed McCaffrey sitting at the table thanks to lowtcenter.com. Ed, what is up? How are you?
I'm doing great, man. It's an exciting week. A lot of buzz, a little more buzz for me this
How
week.
tough is it?
Guess so.
Number one, athletes in the family, I guess safe to say.
They got a couple.
How different is it, though, from a parent perspective? Watching Christian get ready for this game.
Every parent will tell you, look, you love your kid. You want the best for them. You want them to do the things in life that they love to do.
Yeah.
And you love them and you support them. And then it's their life and it's up to them. But you're there for them either way. So it's no different, whether it's football or your kid's a musician or an actor or actress or writer or does broadcasting. As long as they're happy, you're happy. So that's all we care about. Christian's been dreaming about playing in a Super Bowl since he was a little kid, and he's getting a chance to finally do something that he's dreamed about for a long time. So we're excited. A little bit of good nervousness, I guess, but we're excited for him. But we've learned, there's nothing we can do about it. We love him. He knows that. We're here to support him no matter what happens. And then we just, hope for the best and hope he enjoys the experience. And we try to enjoy it as much as we can as well.
Did you know growing up, did you and Lisa know that he was special? Athlete-wise, talented, athletic.
You never, when a kid's a little kid, what do you know? You don't know all the other kids around the country, and you don't, they got to grow up, right, and become men. And when you're a little kid, I don't know how tall you're going to be or how much you're going to weigh or whether you'll continue to develop and then how long you'll continue to develop. But he was really good at football. He was a great athlete from the time he was born. But that's in Castle Rock, Colorado. Does that mean you're going to be an NFL player? No, it just means, hey, for your age, you're really talented. It just happens to be that he continued to develop and maintain that level of athleticism at every level.
Yeah.
Well, you've got to kind of compartmentalize, right, like as a parent, because you've got Luke coming up and going through the NFL draft process. So while we're doing this Super Bowl thing, you're also doing this NFL draft thing. That's a lot, man.
Well,
it's great, right?
I'm lucky that, the brothers all love each other. They talk every day. And it started with my oldest son, Max. He was just such a great big brother. And, I guess as a dad, I owe a lot to him. He didn't mean to be a great, but he just was one, right? He always included his younger brothers, especially Christian, in everything he was doing.
Yeah.
So Christian, whether he was playing basketball or football, he was always competing with guys 2 years older than him his whole life. But if you'd have a big brother that's not having it, he's not having it, right? Luckily, Max was, included him in everything that he ever did, and they support each other. So, Luke's lucky to have Max and Christian, as well as me, but his brothers more than anything, there to support him and guide him and give him good advice. And, they all ended up playing football, which was shocking. You never know what they're going to be interested in doing. But I love how they talk and have great relationships and feed off of each other and help each other out.
Now, I grew up watching your brother play, Billy McCaffrey,
All right.
Vanderbilt legend, SEC legend. I watched him play, and now I'm wondering, you're talking about everybody picking football. How is Billy feeling about this? Like, nobody going to pull and keep the basketball genes going in the family?
Yeah, that was the sport in my family.
Yeah.
So
basketball was?
I was feeling pretty good about myself as a basketball player for a short time there.
For those that don't know, you're 6'5".
Yeah,
we won 2 state championships.
Hey,
in basketball,
talk that
right?
talk, baby.
Played at Rogney Hall. And so, I set the school scoring record there. It was a 1,000-point scorer.
Just a light day at work.
But, it lasted less than a year because my sister shattered my record in less than a year, and then my brother beat her record in less than. So I was already way down on the charts before they even graduated high school. But we grew up loving basketball.
Yeah.
And everyone in my family played basketball. And so I probably knew more about that sport. In fact, when I decided to play football in college, most people in my area were shocked because our football team, I love football. And I love my teammates. but we were not good. We were 0-11 and
geez.
2-9.
We were not good.
And 2-9 my senior year. And but we played in the East Penn League, which is, Saquon Barkley went to Whitehall, and there's there's Hall of Fame players that have played in our conference in high school. It was a really good conference. Yeah. Phillipsburg from New Jersey was in our conference. So it was like the best conference in Pennsylvania for football. But we weren't the best team in that conference. So people were shocked I actually was playing football in college. Went all the way out to California to play at Stanford. I was going to walk on, though, the basketball team.
Were you?
Should have,
Dr.
man.
Tom Davis was the coach at the time.
Yeah.
Got you.
And then Coach Montgomery came in. But we went to the Gator Bowl my freshman year. And so they were like 11 games in. I'm like, man, this is hard. I'm just trying to say academically eligible at Stanford, and we're 11 games into the hoop season, and I'm drained. We just got back from Jacksonville, the Gator Bowl, played Clemson, Michael Dean Perry, all those dudes. And so I didn't play that first year, but I'm like, I'll play next year.
Yeah.
But by that time I was starting. But I wanted to play basketball at Stanford, and I would play with them. We had Todd Lickey, was a pretty good player at Stanford, right, drafted, I think, by the Nuggets in the 15th pick. And then a lot of other pretty good hoops players. They used to battle against, Steve Kerr and Sean Elliott and all those great players that were playing at the time in the Pac-12. And I always loved the sport. Always wanted to play. But all my kids were football guys.
Love it.
They all grew up playing basketball.
That's all right.
Dylan was my third son. He was the only one that won a state championship in high school. But they all did play basketball.
That's dope, man. Ed McCaffrey, 3-time Super Bowl champ here, but on behalf of Low T Center, and I gotta say this, man. You feeling tired and grumpy? Let Low T Center reinvent your men's health care because it is good. I'm a consumer of it. You know what I'm saying? So I'm going to speak on behalf of that before we dove back into the football. Now, you got your son, Christian McCaffrey. I hear so much about the things that he goes through as far as taking care of his body. How much, because young guys listen, young kids listen, athletes of all kind. How important is that to start early? Because in the latter part, when you're having those aches and pains, you can get ahead of that a little bit if you're doing the right things.
Yeah, you got to be proactive. You got to do as many preventative things as you possibly can to stay healthy, so that when you play a football game, you're the best that you can be.
Right.
And he's pretty obsessed with taking care of his body, eating right, sleeping right. He does everything he can possibly do. And I used to think I did everything right, and I maybe pushed him in that direction to make sure that he's, in the beginning it's get your sleep, eat right, stay off your feet, recover, ice tub, in the beginning. Then it's, muscle activation techniques and chiropractors and masseuses. Then it's Aldoa, and now it's out. And he's taking it to a whole nother level. Like he's doing stuff I didn't even know about to get ready for games. But it's because he loves the game, and he owes it to himself and his teammates to be the best version of himself. And there's a lot of players in the NFL now doing that. You heard about Tom Brady with the TB12, and he's got his whole team of people. And you could kind of compare it to like NASCAR. Yeah. Like you run a car in a race, right? There's like a 27-point checklist that every car goes through after the race to make sure they fine-tune the car to get ready to race again. When you play an NFL football game, they equate it to car accidents, right? Yeah. You play running back, you just got about 15 car accidents. You better start right after the game getting your body ready to play the next week. So he knows that, and he's so good about it. And so whatever he does, man, he's done everything to get to that point.
Ed McCaffrey with us, obviously dad of Christian. And, we have heard a lot out here on Radio Row. Oh, you never bet against Mahomes, right? Like that's the popular talk. Tell me what you see with this Niners team that you think makes them special and what they need to do to be successful this week.
Well, it's a great locker room, and I know that you got to execute and make plays on the field.
Right.
But I think this team has the right mindset. It starts with their head coach, Kyle Shanahan. He loves the game. He understands the assignment of every player at every position on the field. He speaks to the team that way. They believe in each other, and then they have a lot of talent. Offensively, look, they got a good O-line, starting with Trent over there at left tackle, and then they got an unbelievable quarterback who leads in most statistical categories. He's proven even last week, hey, you're down by 17. It's not too much of a lead. We can come back, make plays with my feet, throw the ball all over the field and win the game. And then, they got Christian, who's a challenge for any kind. A running back, but also a receiver. You got Debo, and the combination of Christian and Debo at the same time really gives head coach Kyle Shanahan the ability to move guys around and create mismatches defensively. But then you got a great number one out there in BA. And then you got your all-pro tight end in George Kittle. So, offensively, there's a lot of weapons there. Now, Kansas City's defense, this is the best defense Kansas City's ever brought to the Super Bowl. They're holding teams to less than 14 points. So it's going to be a real chess match from both teams. But there's all-star players all over the field. And, it's going to be a challenge to stop the San Francisco offense. That being said, the Kansas City defense did it against Baltimore, and they've played well at a high level all year long. And the same can be said about the San Francisco 49er defense. They basically shut teams out for 2 second halves. But they did, have some points scored on them in the first. I want to see the second half in Green Bay and the second half in Detroit and put, 2 halves together like that. And if the defense comes to play the way they did, because, teams win games, right? Patrick Mahomes has never won a game by himself. Neither has Brock Purdy. Teams win games. And so that I think it's going to be a close game. And I think it's going to take all 3 phases. And I think there's going to be a couple plays here and there we look back at like we do every Super Bowl and say those are probably the most important plays. But every play in this game counts.
Well, Ed McCaffrey, 3-time Super Bowl champion, among other things, trying to get a Super Bowl, trying to get a kid drafted. Congratulations. Good luck on all of your endeavors.
Thank you.
And we'll be thinking about you on Sunday.
Appreciate you guys. Thank you.
Thanks,
there he is, Ed McCaffrey. Thanks to LowTCenter.com. When we come back, we'll get Coach Mack Steak on the Super Bowl next. 3HL broadcasting live from Vegas. We appreciate you being with us. Spread the word. You can watch the show live, YouTube, Facebook Live, and Twitch. And
Twitch, please.
We've got more coming up.
I'm like, hang on.
Coach Mack is next. Our thanks to Low T Center for helping make this broadcast possible. It's 3HL 104.5 The Zone.
What's happening, people? Ron Slay right here, and I'm live coming to you with KellumStemCellInstitute.com. You better hurry up and get on over there, man. Get you some holistic stem cell therapy. You may be scratching your head wondering, what is holistic stem cell therapy? Well, that's your body, your cells, your solution, all adding up to a purpose to get you healed. That's right, fast healing as well. All they do is harvest your body's stem cells, also store them for future and continued use. These cells are your body's own healing cells, harvested and redeployed based on your needs. You don't understand it? Well, take me, for instance. I played 14 years pro. Knee was killing me. Oh, my gosh. Oh, man. I mean, inflammation just, felt like a burning sensation. But went in there, got it done with the holistic stem cell therapy. Haven't had a problem yet, not one. All you got to do is get your consultation. All questions will be answered. 615-850-4415. That's the number to call. 615-850-4415. Helps with a little bit of everything: congestive heart failure, lung issues, arthritis, and autism. Even more. KellumStemCellInstitute.com.
All right, have you heard about T-Mobile Home Internet Lite? Yes, Internet Lite. Someone actually thought making light internet was a good idea. What does it mean? Well, it means it's internet, but it's not full-on internet. And what it means is when you hit your allotted data, you get throttled to dial-up-like speeds from the 90s. And that means you can be downloading a video game. Boom, you get throttled. Nobody wants that. You want strong, you want fast, reliable internet, you want Xfinity. You can learn more at Xfinity.com/TMOFacts. Now through March 21st, new customers can get started with 75 megabits per second Xfinity internet for less than what you would pay for T-Mobile Home Internet. It's all just $20 a month for 12 months with no annual contract. Switch today. Go to Xfinity.com/TMOFacts. Call 1-800-XFINITY or visit a store today. Does require paperless billing and auto pay with stored bank account. Restrictions apply. Equipment taxes, fees extra after promo. Regular internet rates apply. Actual speeds vary.
3HL 104.5, The Zone. Brent Doherty, Don Davenport, and Ron Slay broadcasting live from Radio Road. Set up really well in the Mandalay Bay Convention Center. And not that you guys care necessarily, but I'm trying to kind of paint the picture for you and put you here with us. But, tons and tons of radio stations, tons and tons of digital things, tons and tons of TV networks and shows. And I walked over to the FanDuel site and saw Baker Mayfield and Gronk sitting on a couch talking with Kay Adams.
Great combo.
Cam Newton's hanging around. We'll have him on at some point.
Saw Andrew Perloff earlier, eating fruit. There's that. The Jabberwockies are. Did I pronounce that right?
Yes, Jabberwockies. That's right.
From back in the day.
Live and direct.
They're walking around. They're small.
Yes, they are.
Small people. Small. But I didn't see them dancing.
Yeah, that's a shame.
And then I saw Kyle Turley actually lives in Nashville now, former NFL player, and has been all over, trying to legalize cannabis everywhere and all of these things. He was on our plane last night. We saw him before we boarded. We saw him on the plane. Then I saw him this morning when I went down to get coffee and talked to him there. And he's walking around with Jim McMahon, and they're running for president. Jim McMahon's running for president.
Seriously.
The Cannabis Party. No lie.
It's like Cannabis Freedom Party or something?
I think they're going to come on at 5:45. And so
at the end of the show.
We'll just leave the show in a mushroom cloud for you today.
Pun intended?
Pun fully intended. And we'll get that done. San Francisco and Kansas City. A lot of people down here think Kansas City is going to win, and I think a lot of it has to do with what Slay keeps saying. Don't bet against Mahomes. I'm tired of losing. I'm tired of losing. So that's why I'm going San Francisco. I think they have the best roster, and we'll talk more about it with Coach Mack. Coach Mack joins us now on 3HL as he does every what's today? Wednesday at 3:20.
Hump day.
Hump day.
Coach, what's up? How are you?
Guys, I am so happy to hear that you guys are there. There is no more perfect trio to be in Vegas than you three. And plus, Kirby Allen Kirby's there with you. Is that correct?
I wish he was with us now to turn up your volume because we can.
It's hard to hear you.
We can still hear
but,
you. We're good.
Kirby is with us. He's just not with us right now. He's probably burning one.
Do y'all know where he went? No, he's not burning one. Do you know?
He's on Fremont Street. Where he is.
Yeah.
He's on Fremont Street.
That's what he told us. That's where he wants to go, Coach Mack.
He was smiling.
Well, that's Kirby Allen Kirby's Vegas. Everybody else's Vegas is a strip. That's not Kirby Allen Kirby's Vegas. He's going to go over there where you can smoke all that you want and sit at a single deck blackjack table and roll.
Do they even have those anymore?
I know because Hunk's looking for a place to go count cards. That'd be perfect.
Yeah.
They do on Fremont. They got single decks. Now you got to be able to play, and anyway, I got so many Vegas stories that I'm glad are in my past. But they still got it in Fremont. So, but y'all three out there, that's perfect.
Yeah, and Hunk was able to produce you up, so we're good now. I want to start with Bill Callahan. So Bill Callahan gets announced as offensive line coach. This is what Kevin Stefanski, the Browns head coach, said, because it's really good of them to allow him to come to the Titans to coach with his son. This is what Stefanski said, Coach. The dream of every kid is to boss their parents around. Organizationally, we realize this is a unique situation, and we didn't want to stand in the way of that.
That's great.
You know what? Hey, guys, kudos to Kevin Stefanski. Because, he's a dude that gets it. I can remember, back when young Callahan was hired here, Dawn texted me and said, do you think the Browns will let him out of his contract? And I texted back and said, they don't have to. And they did not have to. But major kudos to them for doing that. I think it is an outstanding gesture on their part. And then as far as the get for the Tennessee Titans to coach the offensive line and to do a lot of things football-wise, look, Bill Callahan, I've competed against him for a lot of years in this league. He is legit. As an offensive line coach, not many better right now. I can't think of any, in fact, that are better right now at this point, and that's saying a lot. And I don't throw accolades out like that lightly.
Yeah, no, you definitely don't. And that's clearly a position the Titans could use some help in developing as well. I'm curious, have you been on a staff with like a father-son dynamic at all? I mean, obviously not with the son as the head coach, but any
Not
other.
with the son as the head coach. Well, yeah, I mean, I was with the Rams with Jeff and Brandon Fisher.
Yeah.
You know, Fish had B-Fish on the staff, who's an excellent coach, who's working now for Tennessee State and Eddie George's defensive coordinator. So,
that's right.
And I was with Greg Williams and his son Blake. He had Blake was. So yes, but never with the son being the head coach. And I think this is a very unique situation, and it's a huge get on both counts for the Titans. I'm just telling you. And I just came back from the Senior Bowl, and everybody down there is of the same mind that the Titans made some pretty good hires there.
Coach, I've always been told never hire somebody you can't fire.
Uh-oh.
Well, here's the thing. I'm sure they had that discussion, and I don't think that will happen.
So with Callahan, I'm sorry, not Brian, his dad. You talk about what he brings. Obviously, one of the best offensive line coaches in the league. But what else will he bring? What else can he kind of add to the staff, to the situation, to the franchise, and how can he kind of benefit Brian as a first-time head coach?
Well, you know this, Don, and we've talked about this many a times, and I've done it with you guys on this show. You can't manufacture experience.
Yeah.
You can't. You cannot manufacture experience. He brings a load of experience. He's been a head coach in this league. He understands. He gets all the pitfalls and will help Brian avoid some of those, because some of those you need a little bit of foresight. Just take it from me, having been a first-year head coach in my career at one time. There are a lot of things that come up that you have no idea of what's coming up. It will be invaluable. It's an invaluable sounding board, but technically, I mean, it's invaluable for the football team, because he not only is an excellent offensive line coach. He understands what makes offenses work in this league. I've coached defense against him. I've game planned defense against his offensive lines, and look, they are always technique sound. They always work in unison. And here's the other thing about it, that we're talking about Bill Callahan now. You very seldom can trick his offenses protection-wise. He's always got a counterpunch to what you're going to do. He will help him immensely in a lot of those areas. But the biggest thing is experience.
You got experience, Coach Mack. Now, experience also coming on the other end of it with Denard Wilson being hired, them being in the same division. That should be some fun practices right there when they go live, don't you think?
Well, I know Denard very well. Worked for him for 5 years. Have been in his meetings for 5 years there at the Rams. This guy was a coordinator in waiting. He gets it. He gets the league from the back end to begin with. Relates to his players very well. It's very, 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 very forward thinking in his techniques and also his teams. And as I said, I'm not just saying this as somebody from the outside. I've been in his meeting room for 5 years. And so, yes, I mean, this is huge. And I tell you, another hire that they made that I'm very familiar. Frank Bush is one of the OGs in this league as a linebacker coach. One of the OGs in this league has got league-wide respect. I've known Frank B for a long time. Worked with him again, for 5 years there. That to me, that's a very, very good pairing, an excellent pairing. Then Tyke Colbert. I mean, I feel pretty good that by identifying Tyke Colbert when he was at the University of Florida, to hire him was give him his first NFL job on my staff at Arizona, and that proved to be a pretty decent hiring, because for 20-plus years now, he's been one of the premier receiver coaches in this league.
That's definitely true. Coach Mack, presented by Two Rivers Ford. All right, let's talk about this matchup, Kansas City and San Francisco. If you're Kansas City, do you see something there that makes you think we can run the ball against the San Francisco defense, and maybe look at Isaiah Pacheco as maybe a key contributor in this football game?
Well, I absolutely believe it's still got to run through. It's still got to run through that to start with. Now, the X factor, we all know of Kansas City. The X factor of Kansas City this year, guys, has been Patrick Mahomes. He's always going to be. I've never bet on a football game in my life, but I'd have a hard time betting against Mahomes, especially in the playoffs. What's he got, 14 playoff wins so far in his young career? But, yes, the run game is going to be very, very critical. But the real mitigating factor for the Chiefs is how good their defense is right now. This is the best totality of defense that Mahomes has had since he's been the quarterback there. And so those two issues, but to be able to take advantage of that defense, you need to possess the ball. To possess the ball, you clearly have to give Pacheco a chance to be able to move the chains. I agree with you 100% on that, Brent.
Coach Mack, presented by Two Rivers Ford. All right, from a San Francisco perspective, walk us through what those offensive weapons need to get done with Debo and Christian McCaffrey and Kittle and obviously the signal caller there, Brock Purdy, who man, it's a wide range of opinion about that guy.
Well, but you've got to know that Purdy has done everything and more. You know, I can remember a time when they had two other quarterbacks that were highly regarded, highly paid ahead of him, and Kyle Shanahan, who knows what a quarterback is, you know, said the third-team quarterback's probably our best quarterback. Well, it proved to be. You know, Purdy reminds me a lot of Drew Brees, guys. I mean, just gets it done and gets it done a lot of different ways. But the thing about the 49ers, and this is going to be, you know, what Spags is going to have to deal with. They use their personnel groups and their motion so well. You cannot be chasing their motion. You can't be chasing their motion, but to be able to motion as much as they do, change personnel groups and the double motions that they use a lot, and the yo-yo motions, the return motions, the ghost motion, all of that stuff, your quarterback has to really understand where people are going to be once the ball is snapped. That's what they've got in Purdy. So Spags on the other side, that is what he's going to be dealing with is trying to get ahead and surround that motion for 4 quarters rather than start chasing that motion. That's going to be something technically to really watch when you want to dig in and watch what has to happen in this game.
Spags is 3-1 in Super Bowls. The only loss was to Tom Brady, like a lot of people. Remember this offseason, y'all, when people debated whether the Chiefs would sign Chris Jones?
Yeah.
Remember that?
Yeah.
That guy could have an impact on this game.
I hope they let him slip out of there.
Well, Chris Jones is one of those guys that just, I mean, he's somebody that offensively, you've got to, when you start putting it up on the board, when it's just the coaches going, okay, who do we have to handle on that side of the ball? He's a guy. He's a guy like Aaron Donald. He's a guy like Big Jeff that they highlight this, that this guy's got to be handled. So any protection that we work, any kind of run scheme that we work, any type of zone run, or even the power runs that we work, we've got to be sure we've got that element handled, because those guys are guys that can wreck it, you know, at any time, and they can wreck it on schedule and they can wreck it off schedule. And so you're 100% right. The big dudes, you know, in a championship game, I mean, they've got to step up. They've got to step up. And Jones is the guy that they're going to have to handle, because he's going to have it on his plate to disrupt everything that's going on.
Coach, we appreciate it. It's going to be a fun game on Sunday, and always enjoy the conversation. Thank you very much.
Guys, always got time for you. I'm so happy for all of you that you're out there. I just wish 2 things. Have a great time. I know you're going to have some great interviews, and I'll come back alive, please.
Thanks, Coach Mack.
I'll let them bring my body back, Coach Mack. I'm alive. That's the man.
Coach, control what you can control, my friend.
See you guys.
See you, Coach Mack, presented by Two Rivers Ford. Doesn't it start there with Kansas City? I mean, I know it's weird to say that because of Patrick Mahomes.
Yeah.
But they have won, and it's almost been more impressive this run than maybe their other runs, right? Like, because they've had to do it in a different way. They don't have that down the field, like, just highlight tape passing attack. And they do it with defense, and they do it with the run game, and they do it with the play action pass. And that's why these over totals on, if you're looking for props and stuff, Pacheco's where I'm going.
And listen, I think when you get – I like Pacheco too. Yeah. And when you get this defense playing the way it is, but on the offensive side of it, man, I love how innovative that you get a guy like Andy Reid. He continues to have to he has to continue to be with a young guy in Patrick Mahomes. You got to be able to keep striking the match with him to keep him interested. Because you don't want a guy like that fading out when you're losing weapons. You're losing weapons like a Tyreek Hill or whatever it may be. This is a time when Andy Reid is needed even more, and you get to see the evolution of him and not walking away from it. I think this is going to be an interesting game right here, man, because opposite of him, Shanahan got a great mind too.
Yeah, so I was looking at Pro Football Focus's numbers on some of these players, Patrick Mahomes' numbers specifically from Pro Football Focus. Now, and it's just a metric, right?
Yeah.
Some people agree with it, some people don't.
Yep.
They take different kind of a bunch of different analytics and numbers to put in for their quarterback ratings or whatever. Postseason, though, Patrick Mahomes, 92.5 PFF grade. The highest in his 6 playoff appearances. And just to give you perspective, he was at an 81.1 passing grade in the regular season.
That's crazy.
Like, that just shows you how much he's stepped up his game here in
Yeah.
the postseason.
What was
Like,
the
it's
stat?
unreal.
14 interceptions during the regular season, which is
Right.
a career high, 0 in the postseason.
Goose egg right now.
Yep, that's exactly right. All right, when we come back, we're going to talk with Solomon Wilcots, Believe in Bengals podcast. We're going to ask him about Brian Callahan, and he's got some experience. Like you were talking about this before the show, kind of monitoring and watching what Denard Wilson does as a secondary coach. So we'll talk with Solomon Wilcots about the new Titans coach next. 3HL broadcasting live from Radio Row. Thanks to, in part, Spring Hill Heating and Cooling. Check out more information online, 1045thezone.com. Go up to Dodge Chrysler Jeep Ram. That's where you need to go to get that next new vehicle, whether you're looking for a car, truck, SUV, or Jeep, or you need something new or pre-owned, whatever you're looking for, they're going to be able to help you out. So if you haven't started that process, start with Gupton. It'll end there. If you are looking around, make sure you include Gupton in your process. I've bought multiple vehicles from these guys. They're awesome people, and they will do you right. No pressure at all from my friends at Gupton Dodge Chrysler Jeep Ram. They will simply get you in the vehicle that's right for you. And that's what will happen. Go take your test drive, go inside. They will help make the numbers work, and it will be that easy. 3450 Tom Austin Highway in beautiful Springfield, Tennessee. Just 30 minutes from downtown Nashville. Best vehicle buying experience you've ever had. Check them out online. GuptonMotors.com is the website. All the dealership information is there. All of the inventory is there as well. That's GuptonMotors.com. 3450 Tom Austin Highway, Springfield, Tennessee, 30 minutes from downtown Nashville. That's Gupton Dodge Chrysler Jeep Ram.
What's happening, good people? You know what time it is when the lights go out. Yeah, it's time to panic. But you don't have to be a part of that. When these winds are coming and you know the gust of rain and blast of winds and all kind of things are coming through and it's knocking power out, you don't have to be struggling and trying to figure out just what am I going to do with all this stuff in the fridge. No, Cove Generators make sure all of this stuff stays as normal as possible because home Generac standby generators work no better, especially when you get them from Cove Generators, Babsy.
Right? Don't you want your home to be like the beacon of light in the neighborhood as you continue your daily routine and all that when the power goes out? Well, Cove Generators can take care of you. It's all they do, and they are your premier Generac home standby generator dealer. So call them to get an estimate on your Generac home standby generator for Cove Generators. Your phone number, 931-559-3311. If you want to check them out online, go to CoveGenerators.com.
Stay connected through it all.
Vegas, Brent Doherty, Don Davenport, and Ron Slay continuing to talk about the Super Bowl and other things. And we're going to talk about the Titans head coach because Solomon Wilcots, Believe in Bengals podcast, has some perspective there. And we're going to talk about the Bear implant with Dr. Scott Sigmund. And let's start there. Doctor, what is the Bear implant? How does that help in terms of ACL recovery? What are you trying to do there?
Yeah, I mean, we all know about ACLs, right? Devastating injuries for athletes at all levels. And so typically for an ACL, what do? We hack out a piece of your patellar tendon with a piece of bone on both sides. It hurts. It takes a long time to recover. And we're taking something that isn't supposed to be there and trying to make it work.
Right.
So what if we could repair your own ACL, put an implant in, and allow your body to regrow your own ACL? And that's what we're doing with the Bear implant. We take a piece of collagen, and that collagen absorbs your blood that we put over top of it, and your own ACL grows with nerves, with blood vessels, with a normal ACL prior to your injury.
Wow.
Really quite remarkable. This is FDA approved. It's not experimental. The research behind it goes 20 years. The NFL Players Association has made a big investment into the company as well because, as we know, ACLs are devastating for our NFL players as well. So really excited about an option that's different, really unique and different than what we're currently doing.
What's recovery time? Is it similar? Or?
Yeah, it's a great question. So because you don't have to take your own tendon, right, your own tissue, it doesn't hurt nearly as much. So you don't lose your quad strength. You don't lose your hamstring strength, right? That all stays normal. So 4 weeks you're in a brace and crutches, and then after that we joke around. It's like Forrest Gump. The braces break off, and then you run down the hallway, and off you go to rehab. And so they accelerate really quickly now, right? We don't want our athletes coming back too quick, otherwise they're going to re-tear. So it's still 8 months to a year, meeting specific measurements that you have to make to be able to have return to function. But this is an FDA-approved new technique that we're really excited about.
I love that right there. Hey, that's all right.
Yeah,
that's all right.
I was going to say, Solomon,
wish I could have had that.
You've seen plenty of injuries in this game
Oh,
in your
absolutely.
time.
And you've seen some players not be able to come back. The previous procedure that Dr. Sigmund talked about is very invasive. It requires a lot of good things to go right. A lot of things have to happen in order for you to have good results. We want you to go to the website at bearimplant.com/Super Bowl to find a doctor in your area or to find out and learn more about the procedure.
I like it. All right, so let's talk a little bit about the new guy in charge for the Tennessee Titans, and that would be Brian Callahan. What do you know? What are Titans getting in him?
Yeah, first of all, he worked very closely with Zach Taylor, Cincinnati Bengals head coach. He was the offensive coordinator, was not the play caller on game day, but you don't have to. People need to understand that when Andy Reid became a head coach in this league, when he first went to Philadelphia, he previously had worked in Green Bay under Mike Holmgren. He had never called plays.
Tight ends coach.
Right? That's right. He had never called plays.
I forgot.
He
Andy
becomes
Reid's
the head.
another one.
He becomes the head coach. He starts calling his own play. All of the guys who worked under him, John Gruden worked under him, became the head coach of the Raiders. He had never called plays. You can go right down that lineage. Mike Shanahan had worked for the 49ers as the offensive coordinator when they last won a Super Bowl in 1994. He wasn't the play caller in that game.
Zach Taylor,
you see?
a perfect
Zach Taylor's
example.
another guy. So the point is that you have yourself a really good coach who I think understands with his dad, Bill Callahan, who's one of the best offensive line coaches you're ever going to get in the NFL. You almost got a 2-for-1 with the Tennessee Titans. And what he does is he integrates the running game very well with the pass game. Brian was very instrumental in the development of Joe Burrow. Now, you guys got yourself a pretty young quarterback. You're going to find out just how good he is because he's going to get coached really well. He's going to be put in a system that helps him to understand the progression and get the ball out very quickly. Now you got to go out and get some talent around him.
Right.
But one thing you cannot do, you don't get to poach the Cincinnati Bengals roster and get T.
Higgins right there too now, baby.
You just don't get to do that.
You know, the
Honestly,
Titans do have some money in free agency now.
Honestly, that is a popular topic in Nashville.
Yeah.
You know where he's from, right?
Yep.
East Oak Ridge. Yeah, that's
There you
right.
go.
A little east.
Yeah, that's right. That's right.
You've been in the AFC North. You familiar with Denard Wilson as well?
Absolutely, yeah.
What are your
And
thoughts
look,
on him?
really good defense coach, great. To me, when you coach on the back end, you coach secondary, and you get to understand how things fit together.
Yeah.
That's really very critical. Your best And look, I'm a little biased here, but your best defensive coordinators are the guys who started on the back end. They started as secondary coaches. Bill Belichick started as a secondary coach, ended up taking over the whole defense. Guys like Tom Landry was a secondary coach. You even look at now across the landscape of our league, every single great defensive coach. Tony Dungy started out as a secondary coach. Steve Spagnuolo started out as a secondary coach. Sean McDermott started out as a secondary coach. When you can when you can coach on the back end, you see, because this is a passing league.
Yes.
You got to be able to defend every blade of grass, knowing how all 11 fit in, and you can't let them throw it over your head. You got to eliminate big plays in the passing game.
Right.
And so the guys that can speak from the back end to the front end and help everybody understand where they fit. One of the best ever, the guy I play for, Dick LeBeau, started out on the back end. Yeah. He was a great defensive back in our league and then came up through the ranks as a defensive back coach. I can't tell you how many coaches across the league talk to Coach Belichick about it. You talk to all of them. They'll say, no, this is where the game starts and this is how we build it.
Right.
And so when you get one of them, man, you got yourself a good chance.
Always love seeing you, Solomon. And again, bearimplant.com
slash Super Bowl.
Yep.
I'm telling you, man. Look, sports medicine is growing, and I'll end it on this. It's growing, and it's innovative, and it's always moving forward. And so athletes are the people to help it move forward. You know why? Because the doctor like Dr. Sigmund, if he came to an athlete and said, I don't know if this will work, but I want to try it. We think it can extend your career. We think we can get you back on the field. You know what every athlete will say?
Slave.
Where do I sign up?
Sign me up.
And so together with the smart mind of doctors like Dr. Sigmund and athletes, right, who are willing to go where no man is willing to go. You know, y'all mere mortals won't do it. You want to say, I want what Bo Jackson got, right?
Yeah.
I want what this. And then when the athletes say yes, we prove that it works. And then the rest of the patient population get behind it. And so you can say thank you to a lot of athletes, man, because Tommy John didn't know if it'll work. He said, I'll try it. He went on to pitch another 14 seasons after having the procedure. So just wanted to drop that little knowledge on you. Now we got to move on.
That's a good one.
Solomon Wilcots, Believe in Bengals, and Dr. Scott Sigmund. Check them out, bearimplant.com/Super Bowl. Thank you, guys.
Thank you.
Appreciate it. Thank you so much.
All right, more 3HL coming up from Radio Row, 104.5 The Zone. And all of these guys played football all of their lives to get to this goal and have this opportunity. The world of high school football changing. The world of college football certainly changing. And Brian Woods joins us now, and he's got something that I think you're going to find to be a very interesting idea to help high school kids with this whole NIL, getting placed in colleges and all of those things. Brian Woods joins us now. Brian, what's up? How are you?
I'm doing great, man. Glad to be on.
PrepSuperLeague.com. Tell us about it. What is it?
Well, first and foremost, it's an elite, first of its kind, 11-on-11 National High School Football League for the top high school players. Specifically, it's rosters full of 4- and 5-star players from markets that historically produce the most amount of talent. So when you're talking about, looking at the college stars, the guys that you're going to see on the NFL opening day rosters, 2 cities that pop out right offhand. Houston, Miami, Fort Lauderdale. Those 2 cities alone right now probably produce more NFL talent than any. But, you want to be in Atlanta right now because Georgia's putting out more talent per capita than any state. You want to be in an area like L.A. Just numerosity alone, there's going to be talent there. New Orleans, Louisiana doesn't get enough credit for the talent they put out. So we want to have, these teams. We have 12 teams in our first season, but we want to be in the markets that, are producing the most amount of talent. But, we plan to scale this very quickly. So it's an elite league, but I don't want people to think that it's only for the very best because we're doing our best to make sure we're giving opportunities to players that the rating systems have overlooked. You take a guy like a Michael Vick, probably one of the best quarterbacks as a pure athlete to ever play in the NFL. I think Michael Vick coming out of high school was a 3-star player. You and I believe that Michael Vick was really a 3-star player. No, he's probably a 5-star that they just never put the 5-star rating on. Yeah. So we want to find that kid who's right on the cusp and hopefully develop him into a 4 or 5-star player. But I think more importantly, you mentioned NIL. NIL is a big component here because to attract a star player, we need to have a catalyst to make sure that player is participating and we get a good product on the field. So NIL is definitely playing a major role in what we're doing in most of our markets right now that we're going to be in, and some recently changed just a couple of months ago. Georgia that didn't have NIL now has it. So our Atlanta team has NIL. We had a team in Ohio, but we had an investment group from Denver approach us and say, hey, we want to have a team in Denver. Well, Colorado has NIL and Ohio doesn't, so that was an easy switch.
Yeah.
So we've got a lot of great things happening with NIL, and the Prep Super League is going to make NIL an even bigger opportunity for high school players.
How much does and this is kind of like a different road, but with transfer portal and all that, you see a lot of college coaches that maybe are looking away from, kind of the high school players. It's affecting a lot of those kids in high school, and maybe probably more so, once you kind of jump down the list and stars and not as much the elite guys, but it is still affecting them. So how much of that is kind of the creation?
It's a big part of it. This was the number of scholarships that are being reduced annually, or rather the number of scholarships that are making their way to high school players is being reduced 400 to 500 a year. That's the last 3 years.
Wow.
It's now a philosophy. If I'm a college coach, how do I build my team? Do I build it through the free agency, which is now the transfer portal, or I build it through what others would refer to as the draft, which is now the high school kids that do I know enough about? So one thing we're doing in this league is we're going to have a chip in the football. We're going to have sensors on shoulder pads. We're going to measure data points that's never been measured in high school football before. We're actually going to put those 4 and 5-star kids against each other, along with our quote-unquote developmental players, and we're going to be able to measure these kids.
Wow.
And there's going to be a better evaluation tool for colleges. We are going to have, in some instances, some international kids coming over from Japan, from Mexico, and now college coaches can evaluate them against better American talent, not just in their own respective countries. So this becomes a much better evaluation tool, and hopefully we'll get more college coaches coming back to high school players as a way to build their teams versus I'm just going to sign a kid out of the transfer portal because he's more experienced and because I have to win now. Otherwise, they're buying me out of my contract and I'm playing golf in Miami, So.
Yeah. God, it's such a different league.
And I don't know who does that now. That was just a random example.
Yeah. I mean, it is what it is. Brian Woods, Prep Super League, joining us today. Now, I need to know, is it possible to get the teams from high school that may want to get their team involved in the Prep Super League? Or are you guys just putting the roster together by drawing a name or whatever it may be, but can I put my team in it if I'm a coach?
Yeah, you can. And here's what I would tell you, that when I first went down this road, there was some thought to including existing programs. And so, quite frankly, I was in conversations with Bosco in California. I was talking to Mater Dei. I was having conversations with Miami Central, St. Francis in Maryland. So established high school programs, IMG, were interested in getting involved. What I found very quickly, though, is that it was hard to get everybody to agree, and then you had these various state associations, and so I wanted to make sure we could control our product, which is everything. Just because a team is good doesn't necessarily mean that maybe they play well together, but it doesn't necessarily mean they're going to be well represented and have a good majority of the 4- and 5-star kids from that market playing on that team. I do think there's a component of this where we would take our best 4 teams from the spring, move them into the fall, and let some of the established programs come in. We've already been contacted by some established programs trying to see if we'd be willing to do that in the fall. So it's a possible thing. But right now, just based on quality control, I think it makes us much easier if we're creating the product.
Yeah, I think it's interesting, too, because I think a lot of people listening are probably thinking, what about the 7-on-7 thing? And so listening to you explain it, and maybe I'm not taking the information correctly, but the NIL component is something that gives you a little head start on that. Also, linemen, evaluating linemen.
Let me just
is so much better with this.
Well, not to cut you off, and I mentioned to your colleague over here, if he still had some eligibility, we probably want to bring him in as well. But the bottom line is, 7-on-7 should be looked at as a drill. It's nothing more than a drill. It's a drill you can get good at. But if I'm watching 7-on-7 as a college football coach, I'm going to see linebackers taking drops that you would never see in a game.
Right.
I'm going to see a quarterback not facing a live pass rush. More importantly, I'm a receiver. I'm going to catch the ball knowing full and well no one is going to hit me. Okay? That's not real football. Not even close to real football.
Nope.
If you talk to the better high school coaches, it'll tell you 7-on-7 is destroying football. It's not football. So what we're creating, I don't see anybody I don't see 7-on-7 in competition with us. But at the end of the day, if I'm a college coach and I see the Prep Super League as a real way, at some point in time, if you're an elite player, you're going to have to be in the Prep Super League, or you're going to be either frowned upon, or you're going to be looked at as a Group of 5 player. Because I'm going to tell you what's going to happen in the next 5 years. If I'm in the SEC or the Big Ten, I'm going to be given a higher draft grade than a kid playing in a Group of 5 conference. That's just how the evaluation of the game is going to work out. And so I think 7-on-7, it's had its day, but the Prep Super League is real football in a real football context.
You got a TV deal yet?
We have our own direct-to-consumer platform, and part of it is we want fans to be able to access every game. We want them to be – we have a partner right now that's going to allow us to stream our games in sub-second latency. So people can watch the game in real time. They can see real data points coming out of it. So this is definitely football built for the modern fan. It won't look like traditional high school football, but at the end of the day, you're going to see the future college stars playing against one another. So the product's going to look more like NCAA and not like high school football.
It sounds like you're doing a terrific job of finding diamonds in the rough, especially like what Babs talked about with the transfer portal and those college coaches going to recruiting there, and you're not really paying attention to high school. This is giving them a platform. What about guys that may have dropped out?
Perfect example. What about the kid that was coming into his own as a junior, and then there was an academic issue before his senior year? What happens to that kid?
Yeah.
There are plenty of those kids in the state of Texas alone. I could probably take outgoing seniors. I could probably make a special team in Houston and Dallas of just kids that everybody's forgotten about, but they are graduating that spring. I could take those kids, make a team out of them, and those kids are worthy of Division I scholarships. So we are certainly going to be more relevant for the class of 25, the class of 26. We've even got 27 kids coming in right now, and these are 5-star kids. They don't have a 5-star rating yet, but we know they're 5-star because they've been offered by Oregon. They've been offered by UCLA. They're getting offers from the SEC and the Big Ten, respectively. But ultimately, we are going to offer opportunities to outgoing seniors as well.
Okay.
Brian Woods, PrepSuperLeague.com, National High School Football League.
Like that.
It's going to be fun to watch.
Man. Yeah. Good luck with everything, brother. Appreciate you.
Thank you guys for having me on.
Most definitely.
There it is. Check it out, PrepSuperLeague.com. When we come back, we're going to do a couple of things, and we are going to talk with Sean Stellato. You might remember him from the agent world with Tommy DeVito and going crazy in the crowd. We talked with him earlier today, but he's going to sit down at the table next. Also, Todd Furman will jump in and talk about the Super Bowl from a betting perspective. All that coming up, 3HL 104.5 The Zone.
All right, it is February 7th, actually. You guys have 1 week to not screw up Valentine's Day, so I am here to help you out. The woman in your life will love a unique and thoughtful gift. You need to call a Moment's Peace Salon and Day Spa. Actually, this is how easy they make it for you. You don't even have to call them. You can go to their website, amomentspeace.com, get a gift card 24/7, 1 o'clock in the morning, 6 a.m., 10 o'clock at night, doesn't matter. amomentspeace.com, 24/7, get a gift card for the love of your life. Everybody loves spa gifts. The woman in your life may even like a couple's spa day. You could do that. If you have any special requests, just call a Moment's Peace Salon and Day Spa, 615-224-0770, or you can always stop by for a personal service. They're located in Cool Springs, right across Interstate 65 from Galleria Mall, the intersection of Carruthers Parkway and Bakers Bridge Avenue. They have at least 10 different services, all under one roof. So let a Moment's Peace Salon and Day Spa help you out for Valentine's Day. amomentspeace.com.
From Radio Row in Las Vegas, and we continue to welcome incredibly interesting guests to the table. Sean Stellato is a sports agent, motivational speaker, and author. You might remember him in some really viral crowd celebrations when his client Tommy DeVito had success on the field, and your crowd celebrations went viral way before Taylor Swift, man. You paved the way.
I appreciate you recognizing that. She's been great for the game. We cut out a little small slice, but it was quite the experience. You know, obviously the whole viral thing was great, but it was really – it was great the fact that I've been able to really get more exposure for my other clients as well.
Yeah.
But let's face it, it's we're proud Italians, and the root of all our Italian dreams has been through our heritage. And we talk with our hands, and it was cool. It was great for Tommy. It was great for myself, his family, and for a lot of those Italian American, a lot of those younger athletes that have dreams of playing professional sports or really finding something that fulfills them. Very fortunate and humbled for that opportunity.
So what was that like? Like you got a guy in Tommy that not a lot of people know, right?
Yeah.
That people don't know him well until this happens, and then he lives at home with mom, and you talk about those roots, and then you're viral. Like what a crazy, I guess, kind of couple of weeks to where it built up to what it was. What was it like?
You know what? We kind of visualized that script. Or I knew Tommy was an Elite 11 quarterback. Tommy was the MVP of the Oregon Open and beat out Tour. Tommy could have went anywhere, went to Syracuse, and we're not going to point fingers, but they, look at the track record. Yeah. They didn't do very well.
Well, that coach is fired, so.
Yeah, and then reinvented himself at Illinois. So he goes. But in terms of, he hasn't been a baller from that first experience when he beat the Commanders. This kid has huge hands. This kid can rip the ball, processes things well, completion percentage. I have no doubt that he can be a premier quarterback in this league. And my job as his confidant and his sports agent was to really lobby for him.
Right.
And we got the Heisman from 28 teams draft day. And I screamed, I clawed, I yelled, I F-bombed. And it came down to the Commanders and the Giants, and I commend Coach and Joe Sheen. They lobbied and fought for him to be a Giant, and we try to put everything in both baskets. Yeah. And it was a no-brainer going there. And it's a testament to them. They gave us their word there was going to be 3 quarterbacks. Let's face it, it's an injury-driven game, and if things happen, I mean, Tom probably doesn't get that opportunity in New England, right? If Drew doesn't go down against the Jets. So I just, he was almost 90% completion percentage, a lot better than a lot of the O'Connell and the Levy kid, the kid that got drafted a lot higher. And but it's, I've got a lot of guys in my stable that are like Tommy, people never heard of or overlooked. I know talent, and I've been affiliated this game, playing. I'm in my mid-40s for, 39 years playing to being a sports agent. So I was fortunate to experience that, and the whole Italian thing, Sopranos, it's crazy. That was my show in college, and here I am. I'm getting actors from the Sopranos giving shout-outs. I'm like, this is crazy.
Do you feel like you kind of play into that role, though?
You know what? I do in more of an elegant way.
Yeah.
Not breaking legs or but in terms of, I knew that Monday night. I knew that was going to be an absolute dogfight.
Yeah.
Monday Night Football, Packers. So I figured I had to go in there kind of with that little – I went black because, it was a little bit more mafioso. All right, you know what, we're ready to draw a line in the sand. This is our home field. And, let's go and punch him in the mouth. And, he went out there and he just put together that perfect dish that night, 17 for 21.
Right.
And that, seeing him go down on that 2-minute drive and set up the field goal, it was like a beautiful, the 3 tenors. It was emotional for me because here I'm seeing 18 years of grind, and I'm seeing a quarterback, Italian descent. My guy, his family, and his father kissed me first, so people got to remember that. I didn't make the first move.
Just receptive of it. Hey, let me ask you this. So, how does your background help when it comes to kind of managing these guys, these athletes, and things of that nature? where does it take you? Like the relationships you built moving up, but you still keep those same relationships.
Yeah.
Or all these new.
Yeah, you know what? I think it's a concoction of both.
Okay.
And I think with the relationships, they've been cultivated years back. I just think they saw me in my first years, the stuff I was doing, meeting with teams, meeting with scouts. And, the early years, maybe the guys weren't as and then I finally started to check some boxes. But I think at the end of the day, I can't control, a young man meeting with him if he wants to go with, the big firms.
Yeah.
I know they sign with me. No other agent's going to outwork me.
Right.
There's no way. I'll challenge any agent to do that. And I ran Boston Marathon 3 times. I didn't train. I've done some really crazy stuff.
See there, Slay?
See, boys?
No.
Let's go.
I'm a
Let's
walk.
go.
We got a marathon coming up. I'm a walk.
That's
trying
right.
to get us walking.
See, tell him.
I commend you to that, man. I still got bone pain from.
See what I'm saying?
But I was 2008. I was neck and neck with Lance Armstrong, first 13 miles, and I never trained.
Jeez.
My wife thought she was in the hospital, just gave birth to my Sophia, and I thought she's like, I think he's gonna kill himself. Yeah. So, but I was
he ain't making it out.
Yeah. But that was now I'm getting like. But you got to run New York. You got to run the New York Marathon. I'm like, damn, New York. I don't know this. I'm 45 with like a 70-year-old back.
On that hard pavement.
Yeah. Without a doubt.
No
Sean
doubt.
Stellato with us, his sports agent. So I imagine your phone rang off the hook after all that?
It shut down. I couldn't get text messages.
That's
for a day.
amazing.
Really?
I mean, it was absolutely. I still haven't responded to some people, and I feel bad because I think some of the texts went up in the iCloud. I don't. But it was. Look at it. My wife has been my rock, shoulder to shoulder. I mean, she just lost her father 3 days ago, which has been really, really tough.
I'm sorry.
So thank you. And John was a great man. I shed a lot of tears. Both my 2 oldest wrote the eulogy. The service is going to be Sunday. I'm going to head back for. I was down the Pro Bowl. We flew right back. But I got a good team around me. I'm blessed with that. It's been fun, but I feel like an artificial intelligence company. I feel like we're in the first early stages. A lot of mountain to still climb. But it's a fun line of work. But I'll tell you, it's just not all going viral. There's been a lot of heartache along the way.
Got to be a little bit easier, though, with those moments to be able to kind of get through doors and get those phone calls returned.
Yes.
Does that make sense?
Yeah, it's funny. I see some people that wouldn't give me the time of day. Now I'm just stroking the ego. They want to have me over for dinner.
There you go.
But I'm like, it's all good. I'm one that maybe 20 years ago when I was watching The Sopranos and I was a little more wired like Chrissy, Florio. But now, I'm gracious. I'm seasoned and, you count your wins, not your losses, and I can't control, people making comments. I live to be curious, not judgmental. And, whatever. People can, as a player, people are going to talk.
Yeah,
I like it when they run their mouth.
Yeah, that's part of it. Yeah, let's get to it.
Let's get to it. I'll see you in the rearview mirror.
Boca Lupa.
Yeah, yep. So that's kind of the mindset.
Mm-hmm. You mentioned the Italian background, obviously, and the whole Sopranos thing.
Yep.
This guy right here played over in Italy.
He looks like a baller.
A long time. I'm curious.
You said tight end, right?
Yeah,
I thought tight end.
Hey, I'll take that.
Well, we're in Radio Row at the Super Bowl.
I had a little bit of that in high
I had to
school.
go that route first because he's like, no.
That's
if I said you played forward, he's like, man, what? I'm a tight end.
Yep, exactly.
If you were to take us back, though, real quick, Italian descent, you would take us back. What's a meal that you would have to have us for?
Oh, I would have to have my grandmother's homemade linguine and my wife's meatballs and my I would say my mother's chicken cutlets.
Oh, yeah.
So that would be a concoction.
I used to kill the cutlets.
Oh,
my God. And that was my meals right
where
there.
we're at. My daughter's got celiac disease, gluten-free, which I wrote a picture book with my daughter Sophia. She's a level 10 gymnast.
Look at these beautiful books.
Wait, so you're an agent, an author, you played basketball back in the day. You're like a fashionista on
Played
top
football?
of it. Yeah.
Thank you. I love
did it all.
My late grandmother, God rest her soul, she, my amazing woman, worked in a men's department store for many years till she was 86 in downtown Boston. She used to take the bus to the train and she taught me how to dress. I wanted to be like Don Johnson as a kid. I used to wear the white sport coat.
Yeah.
My brother used to sleep with his thumb in for a little John Travolta, whatever they call that, in the chin.
The dimple in the chin.
The dimple in the chin. So fashion has been a big part of my heritage as well. And I like to dress, and I luckily got a couple tailors that really like me.
I love the drops of Italian in the book, too. Manja.
Manja.
So where can people get the books? You've got 2 kids' books, and then you've got a motivational.
Yeah, No Backing Down.
No
It's kind
Backing
of like
Down.
a Remember the Titans meets Rudy. The writer of Age of Adeline just wrote the final script. So we're working hard to bring it to the big screen.
Wow.
It's a phenomenal. I'll challenge any sports story ever written to have characters this colorful. And speaking of basketball, I got a pivot. I got my main man here,
Okay.
Chris Manhertz, starting tight end for the Denver Broncos. Just walked in the building. But you can get him at SeanStellato.com or Instagram at Sean Stellato, SES. And they're great reads, and they got great messages as well.
Appreciate that.
Got any offensive linemen on your client list? The
Yeah,
Tennessee Titans are
need some.
looking.
Yeah, unfortunately, the linemen have. I've got a center that's a little undersized, but smart, and was Tommy's center in high school. That I think would be an interesting camp guy. He'd be tough to cut, but
Titans, you hear it. You hear it here, baby.
yeah.
They listen.
I know.
We're scouting.
Yeah, we are.
That's
Yeah.
good. Well, I'll tell you this right now. I got an unbelievable linebacker for this year's draft, Elias Neal out of Marshall. Very instinctive, lightning fast. He's a ball hawk. I got a cornerback. I'm telling you right now, he's going to play for a long time. He's going to run a 4.28 to a 4.31. 20 pass breakups at Easton, Illinois, Sean Payton's alma mater.
Wow.
Legit dude. And then I got a kid, Keandre Swoops out of UAB. Safety is another one. He's a heated missile to take. And then I got a big tight end, 6'6", 250 out of Rutgers, Sean Bowman. We got some legit guys right there I'm excited about. And I got a quarterback, Pee Wee Carter out of West Florida. Remember that. He's got an absolute slingshot for an arm. And you won't forget the name Pee Wee.
Yeah.
Okay.
So West Florida. But I appreciate your time, guys. And
Appreciate you.
This has been fun, and God bless you. And
Wait for the tail. I mean, he's playing into the part. I think it's a lot him though.
Yeah. I don't think it's.
I'm not sure that it's playing a part.
Yeah, I think it's him. I think
it's
that's
him.
exactly what it is. You just put him on
That accent is thick.
a bigger stage and brighter lights, and it just comes out even more. So, yeah.
I mean, those videos, like those moments where he's in the crowd with DeVito's family and all that stuff, and they're all just jumping around, hugging each other, kissing each other, and I mean, really funny. You never know what you get. There's showgirls walking by now.
Yes.
I told Don
Vegas, baby.
they've got these massive hats on. Should I call them hats or headdresses?
No, yeah, that's what I was gonna say. Headdress,
I don't know. It's just a lot of bling, and I love it.
flowers,
and they're very tall. I think Don needs to, go beat one of them up, take the hat, and then go to Kentucky Derby.
Might hurt Babs' neck.
I don't think that would be a Kentucky Derby approved.
Todd Furman is here in Vegas. We are too, but we are not in the same building. Todd, what's up?
I can't believe this.
Hey, this is what happens. Slay comes to the city. He could grace us with his presence for one of these weekly Wednesday spots. I'm glad that college basketball isn't interfering with Slay making the pilgrimage out to the West Coast. But the one thing that I took away, guys, from listening to that interview, when they were talking about 40 times a 4.28 or 4.31, I figured Slay had gotten himself in shape and we were going to time him out here on the Las Vegas Strip since he's promised me for the last, 6 years that he's going to get himself into shape and be ready to run.
Hey, listen, Top Father, all you got to do is give me a court and put you in there and me in there with you, and we're going to make something happen. But outside of that right there, I can't believe I crossed over the state line into Nevada, and now I'm sitting here looking like Top Father will be here. He'll be here. And I'm expecting him to pop out, like come through like on a parachute or anything, and I don't even see you. I'm really ready to go.
You're not even in the same building. He's
Hold
so
on
important.
one
He
second.
can't even get here. Like, it's amazing.
There's two things in all of this. First off, Slay, I've heard about a media basketball game that's going on. I might be able to get you in there. There is no shot I'm getting out there to play any more than you're putting on the skates to try and score on me one-on-one at Bridgestone Arena. Secondly, on all of
fair.
You guys have a lovely location at Mandalay Bay and part of Media Row. If I look around full 360, I have the Bellagio, I have the fountains right behind me because I happen to be on the CBS set. So anytime you guys want to roll over and see me in my house, I am more than happy to welcome you into my fine city.
Wow. Oh, okay.
Ooh,
Okay, that wasn't even a humble brag. That was a y'all are with the peons and I'm not.
How many security checks we got to go through to get to Utah?
I know.
That's what I'm
We
trying
can't
to
even
figure
get
out.
over there.
That's a flag.
There's a couple, Slade, but if you drop your name over here, you only have to go through 4 or 5 additional ones above and beyond.
I hope they got armed security around because I'm gonna pop up out that water right behind you.
Here's the other problem. We were just talking about, like, we get off the air at 4:00 local time, and that's when tonight's basketball games start at 4:00 out here. We got to figure out a place to go watch Tennessee and LSU
and Auburn, Alabama. They start at 4 too.
Hey, look, I am more than happy to meet you guys for an adult beverage.
I'm saying your time zone sucks, Todd.
On the expense accounts that you guys have been afforded from the station. And you know what? Everyone wants to criticize the time zones out here, but you know what? It's the best. You wake up on Saturday morning. You don't have to kill time before those early kickoffs at 9 o'clock out here on the West Coast. And the same thing on Sundays. NFL at 10. Sunday Night Football is over by 8:30. It is the best time zone for anybody over the age of 30 when it comes to watching sports.
All right, Todd, San Francisco and Kansas City going at it this weekend. Obviously, Super Bowl, we're all looking forward to it. It seems like everybody thinks Kansas City in this one, which may send me down the San Francisco path. What do you think?
This is an interesting game because when you look at it, we're going to get a true pros versus Joes division, in my opinion. We've seen the smaller bets for some of the recreational folks coming on Kansas City, and you can understand why they want to back the Chiefs. It's easier to put your head on the pillow on Saturday night knowing that you have Patrick Mahomes and Andy Reid that you're entrusting with your hard-earned money on game day, and the professionals look at the full body of work and they see the 49ers, how they grade out metrically, that this number probably should be closer to a field goal. So I can't fault anybody for getting involved in this game, trying to figure out the angle that they want to attack. And for me, quite frankly, I don't have an investment on the side that I feel comfortable making now. I do lean under the total at 47.5. I think under could dominate the day, but these are two dynamic offenses, and if one of them finds themselves chasing a multi-score deficit, things could get loose in a real hurry.
Yeah, they could. Prop bets when they go down. This something to lean on with the top 3 for you with prop bets. Would they be Pat Mahomes, Travis Kelce, and Christian McCaffrey?
Yeah, I mean, the marquee players, you're always going to pay a premium on Slay. And you know me, I gravitate towards unders and rooting for boring football. So for a lot of those marquee guys, I'm gonna wait it out as long as possible and see if those numbers get inflated to try and make a case to go under. But right now, I don't have any exposure to any of those players in my Super Bowl prop bet portfolio. Some of the players, though, that I have dabbled on went under Isaiah Pacheco receptions at 3.5. That price widely available in that minus $1.50 range. Also went under longest reception for him at 9.5 yards. Did take a little bit of Deebo Samuel in the rushing market. The problem being there is we went over 13.5. That number's out to 17. And actually, my favorite prop bet of them all, because you guys know me as a consummate media professional, people are going to have to tune into the Bet the Board podcast that we recorded earlier this morning to make sure that they get one of those that does involve a marquee member of the 49ers offense.
Hey, okay.
Jawan Jennings.
I like that.
Future Titan.
It is. Spoiler alert: it is not Jawan Jennings. Although I did go under 1.5 receptions on him as well.
You went under, huh? Okay.
Went under. Like I said, Don, I root against human achievement each and every Sunday throughout the fall. This should be no different on Super Bowl Sunday.
Such a negative personality type. I mean, to be fair, though, when Deebo plays, Jawan doesn't really.
Right.
So there you go.
Yep, it is one of those dynamics, and I think you guys are right, Brent. When you look at the game script and the way things unfold, certain players see their workload tick up with all things being equal. So if Deebo were to go down early in this game, any Jawan Jennings unders, you can throw those out. But if you're going to be able to handicap injuries the same way as turnovers, you guys are significantly smarter than I am, and I should be leaning into your model and numerical projections rather than my own.
We talked with Ed McCaffrey at the beginning of the show. I actually started our broadcast with him, and just some insider information here, Todd. He thinks his son's going to do well.
Tell him we appreciate that. There's nothing greater in a game of this magnitude than a father's love for his son. I do hope, though, that you guys ask them how his daughter-in-law and his son have pled poverty in terms of their inability to afford a prominent placement on Super Bowl Sunday.
I saw that.
I mean,
saw that.
Furman, those suites are ridiculous.
Yeah, it's crazy.
Are they really
I
going
mean, look,
for that
I
much?
forgot about that.
Yeah.
I mean, look, Dawn, I mean, we all don't have Slay's bankroll from an accomplished career playing overseas. So, yes, all of us can't afford them. I'll be at home when I pick up my six-pack to try and watch in peace and quiet, but that's why I'm not a starting running back. I don't have a father that played in the NFL, and, that's why they live the way they do, and the rest of us live a very different lifestyle.
All right, Todd. Well, we're going to try and find a sports bar for our 4 o'clock dinner to watch tonight's basketball.
Well, if you guys start to meander north on the strip, maybe I'll find a middle ground, and I will grace you all with my presence so we can break bread together and watch a little college hoops.
I'm going to throw paper spitballs at you. That's what I'm going to do. I'm going to heckle you from the crowd. That's what I want to do.
Well, the good thing is, Slay, that I can at least outrun you. So I feel very confident in that proclamation above all else.
Boy, wouldn't that be funny?
He ain't wrong there.
Can you imagine?
He
We see Slay chasing Todd Furman down the strip with the Bellagio fountains in the background. It would be so romantic.
That's a viral moment.
It would be the ultimate viral Super Bowl moment, Slay and I in a foot race down Las Vegas Boulevard.
Man,
Thank
we're
you,
gonna have
Todd.
to come see you, Todd.
Hey, in all seriousness, know you're busy with CBS this week, man, and really appreciate you hopping on.
Yeah, definitely.
Hey, always a pleasure, guys. Enjoy the game this week, and hopefully you guys get some great food and drink while you're out here for the next 48 hours or so.
Yes,
Bet
sir.
the Board podcast. Get it.
Thanks,
Their
Furman.
take on the Super Bowl, and you don't have to be into sports betting to appreciate that podcast because they will do a deep dive. You will be completely ready for the game coming up this weekend. Also, catch Todd on CBS Sports Networks this week as well, doing a lot of TV. When we come back, a top prospect knows where he wants to play in the NFL. This is interesting. A lot of people talking about this today. 3HL 104.5 The Zone.
What's happening? This is for all my listeners out there who are struggling with hair loss. I'm sure you've tried the lotions, pills, creams, and potions with so many options and doctors out there. Who are you going to trust? What's really going to grow your hair back? The Advanced FUE from Advanced Hair is an incredible breakthrough. Receding hairline, thinning hair, bald spots. Advanced Hair offers a simple, quick one-day treatment that begins regrowing your own natural hair the very next day. And get this. Advanced Hair even guarantees your new hair will grow. It works for men and women across all ages, and there is no one in hair restoration I recommend more. For your free consultation, call 629-348-HAIR. If you move forward, you will also receive $500 off. 629-348-HAIR. Refine your hairline with the team that has redefined hair restoration, and don't forget to ask about that guarantee. Make sure to view the incredible before and after pictures at advancedhair.com. That's advancedhair.com.
3HL 104.5 The Zone. Britt Doherty, Don Davenport, Ron Slay. Radio Row. We got people walking around with
all kinds of
headdresses
stuff
on. Is that what we came up with?
I don't think so. No, I think headdress. I think like native headgear.
Oh, yeah. I guess I mean.
Why don't you just say there's showgirls walking around?
Yeah, there are. They look like hats to me. Like if I was going to describe it, and I'm dumb, so like it's hard for me to come up with words. But they're hats on their heads, right?
Yeah,
they're like 3 feet tall.
Yeah, flowery.
5 feet tall.
It's for show. Show hats.
Show hats. There we go. Show hats.
Show
feathers. Yeah, not flowers. Feathers.
Kirby's walking around. Kirby's doing updates, Super Bowl like Radio Row updates on Buck Rising's show.
I heard that was happening.
I like that segment.
I thought it was funny.
I did too. I thought it was a great segment. Good job, Kurt. I'm gonna look forward to that tomorrow.
He said thank you.
Oh, thank you.
Kirby just kept repeating that he wants to go to like Old Town or whatever it's called.
Fremont.
Yeah, Babs.
Well,
we're walking here. She's like, I remember going there when I was a kid. I'm like,
I forgot. Our parents brought us here often.
Quite a bit, huh?
Yeah.
Way to go, Big
I forgot
Tom.
about that. Tom likes his gambling.
No wonder you love going to the casino.
Yeah.
It's in her genes.
Grew up in it.
When I first met her, she was going to Tunica all the time.
We're about to return it now.
Hey, now,
I don't know why
I screwed some people up on the poker table there in Tunica. That was during my heyday.
My heyday.
My heyday of poker playing where people got pissed, took their money.
Ain't nothing wrong with it. Somebody got to win, somebody got to lose, Babs.
That's right, but I don't think I think a lot of them didn't appreciate that it was me. Like
I can understand that.
You either smoke or you get smoked.
That's right.
Yeah, you came in with a
You don't like it? Stop it.
Yeah, I mean, hey, we go with that. Horns down. Baby. That's right. Horns down. That's it.
There you go.
So, how do we even set this up? I'm going to read this tweet from Chris Sims.
Give it some.
Usually players are tight-lipped on this question, but we asked Brock Bowers who he wants to play for. He answered the Titans.
That's crazy to me.
That a player would answer that question?
Yes.
Do you? I'm sorry to think.
And that a player would answer that question with Titans. Honestly,
why would you want to play?
Have you ever met?
Levis?
Probably, and he probably likes Brian Callahan and what Brian Callahan does offensively, how he utilizes the tight end, and he could be a pass catcher.
See how easy that was, Babs?
I got you.
It's like you're just taking people's money at the poker table.
I got you, but what do you have to gain from that if you're Brock Bowers? Nothing. And that's what his agent will tell him. Hey, yo, don't do that.
It's already done now, though.
Just rock on.
Would it scare teams away? Like what would the motivation be? Was there motivation for him to do it?
I don't know. I don't know why he did it. Now, can I say this? All I read was Chris Sims' tweet. I didn't actually hear him say it.
So what
I didn't actually listen to it. So I don't know the context. I don't know. I don't know if he said Titans and sat there and then was like, nah, man, I would be okay with any other team. So I haven't had time to go actually listen to the soundbite.
Right. I would like to hear it also.
There's something to be said for the context part of it, right? But if – you're Brock Bowers, you have nothing to gain from picking any team. No player will ever pick a team because they're like, oh, I'll be happy wherever I end up because you don't want to alienate teams. You don't want to, all that.
Slay said this.
Unless it's like the Bears and you don't want to go there.
The Bears.
Slay said that might be going on with Caleb Williams.
I know. That's why I said it.
He might end up in Washington, which is where he played high school. He's a high school football legend up there, obviously. So that little situation might get interesting. But if you're the Bears, don't you draft him anyway?
Who?
Would you draft
Caleb Williams? If he's saying, I don't want to go there.
It's hard. Okay, it's hard.
Tough.
It's hard at the quarterback position because you can't have a quarterback that doesn't want to be somewhere. I mean,
but at the end of the day,
it would throw up red flags for any other team to grab him. But I'm telling you,
Eli Manning did it.
It doesn't matter. Exactly.
John Elway did it.
I think I think it's way easier at a different position than the quarterback position, right?
Smiley says he has audio about this very topic. Let's hear it.
Well, I know you can't control it, but if you could, where would you want to go? Whoever wants to take me. I mean, it's hard to say. I'd love to go to.
He wants the Niners to get rid of Kittle, and then he wants to go to the 49ers.
That'd be all right.
Let him say it.
I'd be all right with going to the Tennessee Titans. I mean, I liked it down in the Georgia, Tennessee area. I thought it was cool, but that'd be a cool spot to be.
You hear that, Ty?
Okay.
So to your point, Babs, it was a pause, and it was I'd like to go to any team, anybody
that'll
take
me.
But
he followed
preferably.
And he didn't say anything about Brian Callahan, about Will Levis, about the offense, about the fans. He talked about the area.
Yeah.
Love Georgia, love Tennessee, likes the whole area.
Yep. Again, this is Brock Bowers, tight end from Georgia, who, I mean, so advanced while playing college football. Like he could have started on a number of NFL teams already.
That was interesting.
Let's play it again, Smiley. I want to hear this again. Brock Bowers talking about
to
the
Chris
NFL.
Sims.
Yeah.
Well, I know you can't control it, but if you could, where would you want to go?
Whoever wants to take me. I mean, it's hard to say. I'd love to go to.
He wants the Niners to get rid of Kittle, and then he wants to go to the 49ers.
That'd be all right.
Let him say it.
I'd be all right with going to the Tennessee Titans. I mean, I liked it down in the Georgia, Tennessee area. I mean, I thought it was cool, but that'd be a cool spot to be.
You hear that, Titans?
Wow.
You know what's crazy too? All of his interviews that he had, they always say, man, we don't really like interviewing because he's all football. That was some personality right there.
And it was showing, like, personal preference.
Yeah.
Like, he wasn't talking about football, X's and O's. He was talking about the area.
Yeah, that was all right. Okay. Well, hey, we got some things to do. Let me get some couple
Guess
people
what,
on the line.
Brock?
Miss Amy.
No, listen.
Oh, okay, I'm sorry.
Listen. You can't catch the ball because your quarterback's going to be dead because there's nobody to protect him. So, unfortunately, you're not going to end up in Tennessee.
Little Birdie told me that Bill Callahan is such a good coach that he will be able to get chicken salad out of chicken poop.
Shiano.
Yes.
So the idea of Brock, I'm telling you right now, like Slay said it well. It's the Titans have unfortunately put themselves in position with all these playmakers that are available at the 7 range that they need offensive linemen, right? Like that's a tough place to be. But I'm telling you right now, if they announce Brock Bowers, I'm gonna be pumped.
Oh well, heck yeah.
And guess what? I don't want nobody else but Brock Bowers if it ain't an old lineman right there. The Marvin Harrisons and all the Malik Neighbors and all.
Well, it's
if
easy
it's not
to say
Brock
that
Bowers, no,
Marvin's gonna be gone.
No, I was saying this at first though. I was like
Malik Neighbors
like man, man, that's a different dude.
I know Babs got mad at me when I did my PFF mock draft. And I came up with Brock Bowers in the first round and Keon Coleman from Florida State, the wide receiver, in the second round.
Yeah, I need linemen.
I'm like, you don't have anybody to protect. Hey,
I got Bill Callahan.
I will say it'll be fascinating to see if he can develop or make a difference in these linemen that are already here that have been deemed by watching their play not functional. That's a little harsh. I'm sorry. Not starters.
Hey, you're at Super Bowl Radio Road. We ain't sugarcoating nothing.
I'm allowed to be harsh,
yes,
right?
you are.
Yes, you
but
are.
How much can Callahan really help?
When we come back, 5 o'clock hour coming up, we're going to visit with Danny Kanell and talk about college football. We love putting Danny Kanell on DK next. 3HL 104.5 The Zone.
Hey, Twitch, please. Want to talk to you about Artisan Custom Closets. If you are in need of some organization in your home, I feel you. Don't we all need that? Artisan Custom Closets can help you out. Make your home feel new. Make it feel decluttered in the new year. With organization, maybe you want that show-stopping closet, and it's time with shoe storage and hanging areas and drawers to store your sweaters. Maybe you want the home office that you have desperately been needing. Maybe it's just time to get a jump on spring cleaning and transform your home into an oasis of calm. Artisan Custom Closets can do it all. They're local. Not a large chain business. Their products are made and manufactured all in the USA, in the Southeast, as a matter of fact, and it's all customized for your home. Bring some calm. Get organized. Call 615-800-2199, 615-800-2199. You can always visit artisancustomclosets.com to book your appointment. That's artisancustomclosets.com.
Good evening from Radio Row here in Las Vegas. I'm Joe Hung. Some news kind of involving the Titans, as multiple NFL teams are reportedly requesting the opportunity to interview Titans running back coach Justin Altman for a potential position on their staff, which also could include run game coordinator. And the Titans are actually declining all of those interview requests. Could mean that he's staying on the staff. Just keep an eye on that. Nick Saban is heading to ESPN, as he is going to be working with College Game Day. He's going to be involved with the NFL Draft as well as SEC Media Days. And coming up in just about 1 hour from right now, Tennessee, LSU, right here on 104.5 The Zone, 6 p.m. tip. You can watch on the SEC Network, or you can be a cool kid and you can listen to it right here on 104.5 The Zone. For all your foundation repair and waterproofing needs, you need to visit USSTN.com. Breaking news at once on your home for the Vols flagship station for your Tennessee Titans, as well as home to 3HL. This is 104.5 The Zone.
At the Mandalay Bay, our thanks to Low T Center, among others. 1045thezone.com for more information. Danny Kanell used to play quarterback for Florida State and in the NFL, and sits down with us now. Danny, what's up? How are you?
It is great to see you guys in person. I know we catch up throughout the season, and I'm usually driving in the car, like running from one practice pickup to another one with my daughters in the car, and the cell service is cutting in and out. It's great to be here in person.
The energy's different.
I really don't want to talk about the NCAA in Tennessee. Is that okay?
Yeah, but let's skip it. Let's skip it then. Hey, I thought you were going to go with Florida State. And I was like, that was off limits. That was on the no-go there zone.
Well,
Florida State getting left out.
Now that you say that, are you surprised that it's just Tennessee and Virginia on this thing, that it's not four schools?
I actually am.
Yeah.
That was my first thing was, okay, this is just going to be the first of many that are going to follow. But I do think there is a similarity with Florida State suing the ACC.
Yeah.
Florida State's doing the dirty work for everybody else in the ACC that probably wants out as well.
For sure.
I think everybody's looking at Tennessee and Virginia and being like, all right, you guys do it. Then if you win, then we'll just top in as well. So they're kind of letting Tennessee and Virginia take the lead on that as well. But we're on it's just like a monumental time. We're like it's like a course of history is about to be changed dramatically. Yeah. It really is. And I don't want to sound like too dramatic because there's way bigger problems in our world, but it is 10 years college football. College athletics will be okay. College football and college basketball are going to look completely different. But here's the thing, they already have for the past 3 or 4 years. When you go see Carson Beck picking up a 270,000 Lambo, like, sure, he might have had it before, but now to be able to post about it
would have been hidden.
Right, exactly.
Didn't you?
It is.
Didn't you?
I wish.
It took a Lambo to get you to Florida State?
I wish. I was disappointed at the lack of offers I got. That was too much. My parents were with me on visits asking about what's the medical school like, and I'm like, no, let's go have that conversation about what's at stake here. I didn't get any offers, man. I was bummed about it.
So you kind of mentioned that just the landscape's going to look different. We've seen, for the most part, a lot of coaches jumping from college to the NFL.
Yeah.
And that's the landscape of what college football is doing right now, schedule-wise, NIL, recruiting, all of this. To these coaches, Boston College. I mean, you're a head coach in the ACC is like, peace, I'm going to go be a coordinator in the NFL instead.
Don, we should have listened. Nick Saban has been saying this for a while.
Yeah.
Kirby
he
Smart.
retires.
Exactly.
Do you think he retires if it's not what it is?
No.
No. Yeah.
Well, if he had 5 years ago where he had a monopoly on talent and he was able to, just amass all the 5-star talent, there's no chance he retires. But it is exhausting. Mm-hmm. And I thought for the first time this past season, you saw him look exhausted. He's got a ton of energy for a 72-year-old.
Mm-hmm.
He had energy to go, but it is 365 days a year. It is 24/7. You have to be – because it's always been the knock against college football is like, you got to recruit.
Yeah.
And it's one thing to have to recruit high schoolers, but now once they commit, they very rarely commit until they sign the letter. So you always it's constant recruiting. Yeah. Then you have to recruit your own roster to make sure they're not leaving and entering the portal. it's a
and then
complete
you have to
mess.
recruit the portal.
Yes, yeah. Then
On
you got to
top
go
of
out
it.
and get that. It is, and there's no structure, and it's so desperately needed that we've got to get there. So I've been one that's saying, hey, let's pay attention. Are we paying attention? There's coaches leaving, and there still are people that push back that will say, well, they're making $10 million. Who feels bad for them? And you're right. But guess what? They still can make $10 million in the NFL.
Yeah.
And they're going to. Like, why would we be okay with losing some of our best coaches?
Right.
And then somebody will come back and say, well, Jeff Hafley's not a great coach, the Boston College coach who left to be the Green Bay's defense coordinator.
I thought he did a great job with what he walked into.
Absolutely. Look at what Boston College is trying to find now. Like, good luck trying to replace him.
Yeah.
It's a mess. People don't feel bad for coaches because they do make millions, but we have to think about the health of the sport because you're going to see sloppier play as these rosters turn over. You're going to see lack of development when you're going out and you're seeing a lot of transfer portal players. It's really hurting high school recruiting because coaches are like, why would I go that route and develop players when they're going to leave if they're not happy or they get a better offer? Like they can go, hit free agency anytime they want. So we've got to speed up and get there or else we're going to see this trend continue.
Well, and, I mean, outside of the football part of it, these good coaches that are helping to develop young men into men, and help them character-wise and all this stuff outside of the football
which
field,
I
too,
valued.
which you're leaving.
We're kind of joking before about the recruiting process, but that's ultimately why I chose Florida State. Was Mark Richt was my quarterback coach.
Oh, that's
Bobby
a good one.
Bowden was my head coach. And you know what they sold my parents on? We're going to help your boy become a man and a type of man that's going to be respected, that's going to respect women, that's going to have faith instilled as a part of his, a football environment. Like, all those things were important. Now, parents, sadly, and players are just going in saying, what's the money? What's the amount? And they're not worried about the bigger picture because it is becoming, the NFL. It is becoming less relational and more transactional.
So the fix, what is it? What do you think? I mean, I know it's
a
$1 million question.
It is.
But is it,
or billion.
the Power Five or whoever, like, do we separate them? Who's in charge? Is the NCAA dead?
The NCAA will never die, but it needs to go back to what it was designed to do, which was to run amateur athletics.
Got jaded.
Go put on the lacrosse championship. Go put on the soccer championship. Go put on the tennis championship. That's what it's for. Set the rules for those sports. Football needs to separate. Basketball probably does too. And I think we're headed in the right direction when you see the meetings that took place, this collaboration, this meeting of minds between the Big Ten and the SEC.
Yeah.
We all know that they're
ACC's
separating.
not involved in that.
We're
What's
getting
up with
well.
that?
The ACC has its own problems of just surviving. So I mean, that's what they're worried about if you're Jim Phillips. But that's where we
need more.
No, exactly. We need to get to that, but I think that's a step in the right direction, and we need to get the TV companies at the table and say, okay, let's figure this out. The college football playoff, which I think people don't realize this, it runs the college football playoff. Like, it doesn't listen to the NCAA. It has nothing to do with the NCAA. There's already a structure in place where they could come into play and help run the sport. They could hire a commissioner. Maybe it's a Nick Saban. Maybe it's a Greg Sankey who elevates to the, the commissioner of college football. Yeah. Something that goes and here's the rub. We do need to let players have a voice in all this. So there's still these fights in court saying no, they're still student athletes and they're still amateurs.
Yeah.
They're not.
If they're named
We're
employees,
at a place,
look out.
Right. So let's just make them employees and stop trying. The only people that are winning are lawyers. The billable hours are the biggest thing that's winning. Let's get to a place where we have a collectively bargained agreement. Let's give them a share of the revenues. Even coaches are saying this now. And what is insane, 5 years ago, I was probably sitting here saying, I love being a student athlete because I did. But the money has gotten so big. Yeah. I remember my guy, Ryan Rosillo, we got into a heated argument about this, and he was like, when's there enough money? Is there not enough already? And I was like, no. I have to, I was worried about my daughters, keeping volleyball and basketball programs alive. There is more than enough money to go around where all the non-revenue sports will survive. You can still have the players paid. You can still give them what they deserve, a piece of it, and we'll all be okay.
Danny Kanell with us. I've got a sheet in front. By the way, if they are deemed employees, then unions, then all kinds of things.
That's exactly what I was going to hit on. The guys that graduate out need to be in the union and come back and make those decisions and have that voice.
Yeah.
So,
well, no. I thought we were talking about like earnings in arrears? Like, we got to go back and figure out how I can get some money from
I'm with you.
1995.
I need
Come
some.
on.
I need some of that
Let's
99
go.
money.
Right? Let's go.
Hey, this NCAA football game.
Exactly.
Hey, tell us about Stunt. What you got going with this?
So I don't know how your guys' experience is on social media when you go on there and you want to just have an interaction with sports fans. All of a sudden it devolves, and I get called. It's funny. I'll have the exact same take, and on the same thread, I'll get called a raging MAGA supporter, or I'll get called a raging liberal from the same exact take, or I'll get called a racist, or I'll get called this. All of a sudden, it's like, what? I didn't come here to argue about politics. I came here to argue about the ACC should have been in the playoffs, and I want to make the case for Florida State, and that's what I want to make the debate based on the merits. I don't want to have to go into all the nonsense that comes with social media. Stunt is the place to go for sports fans who are passionate about sports and want to talk sports and sports alone. It's also a great spot if you want to create your own following. You can create your own podcast. You can create your own video content. You can create your own following within Stunt. Hopefully one day you might be able to monetize that. There's also trivia on there. If you guys are big trivia people, do you guys remember the HQ went viral? The HQ game where you'd go in and you answer 8 questions, I think, at the time.
Yeah.
And if you answered them all, you win the pot. They've got a trivia section where you can answer 12 sports questions, a chance to win $500. If no one wins, the pot rolls over. That's a ton of fun. So it's a place where you can just go hang out with other sports fans and talk sports with all the bots and all the crap that's out there on social media. Go check it out. It's Stunt. You can check it out on any app store there is. It's really easy to download. It's really a cool features, too. It's really easy and simple to figure out.
I like it.
Love it. Said we weren't going to talk about NCAA fights and stuff like that. Never did.
No. Yep.
Well,
I feel like he's our college expert, though.
Let's go.
I mean,
I get called a lot worse than that. I'll be the college expert
Danny,
anytime.
it's early in the week. Can you give us
I just gave you a compliment.
Yeah, sure.
God.
I like the 49ers, and I am a sucker because I bet against Patrick Mahomes.
Okay. I did
So
it the
does
last 2
Slay.
weeks.
So
I'm
does
done
Slay.
with
Against the Ravens.
Yep.
And I'm like,
same.
third time's got to be the charm. He does make you nervous, but I
Yeah.
think the 49ers are the better team.
Okay.
And I think Brock Purdy's going to step up. I think it's a Christian McCaffrey game. If you want to take a flyer, I think Christian McCaffrey for MVP is the way to go because I think he's the most important player in the game, and I think he balls out.
Love it. Thank
Awesome.
you, Danny.
You guys
Appreciate
are great.
you.
Great seeing you guys in
There
person.
he is, Danny Kanell. Check out the app, Stunt. Get it done. More 3HL live from Radio Row in Vegas. Coming up, 104.5 The Zone. 3HL broadcasting live from Radio Row in Vegas at Mandalay Bay. Our thanks to Spring Hill Heating and Cooling, Britt Doherty, Don Davenport, and Ron Slay. Why are you looking at me like that, Babsy?
There was just no warning.
I said, okay, here we go. Boom.
Okay.
I'm ready. Listen, we got BJ at the table.
We got people to talk to.
We got family at the
Our
table.
peeps.
Brian Jones, we run into you all over the country. CBS Sports. Brian, what's up, man?
I cannot get away from you guys, nor do I want to. Next time, please have some peach cobbler or some fried pork chops or something waiting for me, okay?
There's your guy right there. Slay's got you covered.
That's in the boom boom room?
That's right.
Now you figuring it out.
What do you know about the boom boom room, BJ?
Nothing other than the movie Life, Ray's boom boom room.
That's where it came from.
I know. I figured it was. Tell them about the gun line, boss.
Tell them about the gun line, boss. Yes, sir.
You going to eat your cornbread.
Hey, man, ain't no cornbread allowed in this thing. You know what I'm saying?
See, we're going to quote the whole movie.
All day long.
Hey, it's been done before on this show. Trust me.
Brian Jones with us from CBS. So, noted Texas guy.
Yes, sir.
Next time Texas plays a football game, it'll be in God's conference, the SEC. Just means more over here. Did you know that?
I've heard that a time or two. And unfortunately, we are leaving the SEC, and we'll be primarily Big Ten now at the CBS. But, Texas, man, that's going to be a huge lift, a heavy lift each and every weekend. You guys see it. I've witnessed it for 20 years at CBS.
Yeah.
And it's going to be an arduous task, but Coach Sark has built the team with that transition in mind, and he's done such a wonderful job, tremendous recruiting. Again, today, with today being signing day, I'm sure you have another great haul, but not too worried. I think they have an inkling what it's going to take going on the road, winning in Tuscaloosa a year ago.
Yeah.
If that didn't let you know what the SEC is all about, knocking them off of that huge mountain, nothing will. So Georgia, I believe, comes to Austin this year. Florida comes to Austin. We'll see if they bounce back. It's going to be fun, man.
How fun is this?
Every game means something.
It does.
You know, you'll have your little off weeks in there with a cupcake. But, each and every week the house will be full. It will be loud. And it will mean more.
Yeah, absolutely.
No doubt. Okay, we have to bring this up. You know we have to bring Horns Down up.
Yes, come on.
Listen, we almost wore T-shirts.
Yeah. But then management might have made us change them, you know. So, listen.
It's harsh.
You know how the SEC is. I mean, like, people are doing like the throat slash. I mean, they're burning our trees down in Auburn. I mean, like poisoning our trees down in Auburn. Like, this is hardcore. So know, Horns Down is going to be seen in all these venues. Please explain to us why it's so personal to Texas
because you're
people.
taking our celebrated sign and you're inverting the hook'em. That's why. And so, but here's my take on it. The great Mark Ingram, speaking of Alabama, and Heisman Trophy winner.
Go Vols.
It's a different type of shirt. What is that, a shirt?
It's like a peplum.
Yeah, anyway, glad he got pants on. Listen, he
hadn't been in the boom room.
He can't get in the boom room with that shirt. That's a different boom room. That ain't even loud in Nashville, is it? Some parts, anyway. See, every time I come on this show, y'all get me in trouble. Every freaking time. Never coming on this show again. When can I be on again? No. I understand. I'm going to share this with you guys. A long time ago, I was a sideline reporter for UT, and we were at a certain college town, and we were out having a few libations, and this gentleman decided to do the inverted hook'em in my face constantly. And I'm the type of dude, I'll give you 3 shots to leave me alone.
Right.
And he constantly did that. I can't believe I just did that. I demonstrated it. I'm glad we were on TV. But so I had to pop him one. I had to give him a rap on the beat. Dude, I asked you 3 times not to do that. But the people that hate Texas, the opposing fans, they're going to buy in it. And the more you squawk about it, the more they're going to display the inverted hook'em. So I love our basketball coach, Rodney Terry, but I thought he was wrong by even addressing that. You know how you shut them up? You know how you keep them from doing it? You win.
Beat them.
Just win. They're going to do it. The folks who know nothing about Texas, they just are imitating what they've seen. Just beat them. And you don't have to worry about that.
I mean, that's what Florida always says about the Gator, because when they get beat, that's all they see.
Right.
Other players,
they're going to mock you. Yep. They are going to mock you.
Do you ever do it, Slay?
Yeah, hell yeah. I couldn't wait to do the Gator chomp and the throat slash with it. No. That ain't going down in the hill.
You can't do anymore, Slay.
So violent.
Yeah, I mean, I did it across the chest, though.
That's right, yeah.
Black people, so violent. just angry. Are you angry?
I had it
he got it. He got a job, and he's still angry.
No,
I'm joking, Black America.
Yeah. Can we put you in the boom boom room, though?
What the hell goes on in the boom boom room?
Okay, here it is, man. Okay. This is what we're going to do. All right. The boom boom room is a room. It's me and you going in. We lock the door behind us. The only way you can get out of the boom boom room is answer all questions truthfully, and I am the judge to that. If not, you will be locked in the basement with the lost souls. That's all I'm saying.
I am not scared of your questions. Bring it.
There you go.
All right, here we go, baby. Brian Jones going into the boom boom room. Lock the door, huh?
Yeah.
Real simple to do.
First
and foremost,
on his
if you
way
had to
here.
go back and do one thing in your playing career, what would you change about it?
What would I change about my playing career?
If you had one thing, a magical potion, you going back.
I would have recognized that I couldn't live off athleticism a lot sooner. I tried to do that as a pro, and it didn't work those first few years.
Yeah.
And by the time I figured it out, and then I was a pro, and the work ethic that I needed to sustain that level of play, I started getting hurt.
Yeah.
So, but that's what I would change. That's the only thing.
Second question. Now, the transition from sports back into reality, what was something that you would have liked to go a little smoother in that transition?
Hell, just the transition.
And how difficult is it, though?
It was extremely difficult. I was out in the wilderness, man. You see me now and what I'm doing, and I've been blessed the last few decades, but when the game was over, and there's no weaning yourself off of it. It's like turning off that faucet. It's over, and you try to find yourself, your true self, your identity. You know, is Brian Jones that number 58 on his jersey, or is he someone else? And my business partner, Kenyon Rashid, and the reason we're here to talk about our partnership with IBM for our latest venture, he told me something. When we first started working together, he said, when you go into these corporate offices, they don't give a damn how many tackles you made. They don't care how many 1,000-yard rushing seasons you had. They want to know how you're going to affect their bottom line. So that helped with that transition, because it was so humbling. It was over, and I just, man, I was partying, wasting money, trying to figure out who the heck I was. And when I eventually put that ego, put it aside, and just got stripped down to the studs and got really humbled. And I leaned on my faith, and it said, go take your butt back to school, complete your degree, and the rest is history.
Man, sound like you're echoing my story. I'm going to go and let you out the boom boom room. That was real easy.
Oh, dang. I got him whispering in the big boom
No, because guess what you did?
He doesn't ever do that.
Tell BJ how long you went at UT.
To
get done.
It was a long stretch. I finished in 03, went back to go get it. I had 15 credits remaining to go finish. By the time I went back, I had like 54.
Thank you. That's what happened to me. So I go to the league, and then I come back. I left 1990. I come back in 2000, 10 years later, and everything's changed. They got these computers everywhere. Dude, you know what the cool thing was? I like it now. I didn't know at the time. They say, well, you got to go to the bursar's office. What the hell is that? I ain't never going to no bursar, because they go do all that for you. Right. They do all that for you. They get the books for you. I had to go that. I had to go the bookstore. But you know what? It was great.
Yes.
It was a wonderful experience just being a regular student. I made straight A's going back. And, man, it was fabulous. And I was a little concerned, but those co-eds, they loved my old ass. And so
that was the old, if I'd have known then what I know now.
Right.
You did.
Hey, man, BJ, you made it out the boom boom room. When you come to Nashville, we're going to put – what?
I got a boom boom room question.
Hit him, Babs.
Just real quick.
Get him.
Yep.
Is Texas really back?
Hell yeah.
Oh,
that's an easy
there
one.
you go.
Yes, we're back.
That's an easy one.
Come
But
on.
hey, we've been asking for like 10 years.
Well, you don't have to ask anymore.
There you go.
They proved that they were
Sark's
back.
got you back.
He's got us back.
Brian Jones, we let you out the Boom Boom Room. We're going to take for an extensive Boom Boom Room edition once we get a hold to you out of this situation.
All right,
but
let's
you
do
made
it.
it through. Good job.
Thank
man.
you.
Unlock the door.
All right, BJ, tell us about Edge 3. What you got going, man?
Edge 3, my business partner, Kenyon Rashid. He and I, he's a former NFL player, and we've known each other since his days at OU and my days at Texas.
Whoa,
and we've been business partners for now over 2 decades. And we developed Edge 3 to assist athletes and their families, help them make informed decisions about this recruiting process, which schools to go to, what's a good fit, all these different variables that are out there. How do we aggregate that data and give them a one-stop shopping platform to get the answers to their questions? Because when we went through the process, we didn't know what the hell to ask these recruiting coordinators. I'm sure you didn't either, Ron. You didn't know what to ask. We just went with the flair and the pomp and circumstance, and they were blowing our mind. And so there's so much more to the process. And on the flip side, with the coaches, how do they now mitigate risk in this new landscape with NIL and all the money that's associated with recruiting the players and the extra days that are associated? Today's the official recruiting day. This used to be the only one. Then you got the transfer portal windows. You've got the early signing day in December. So they need to mitigate their risk by sifting through tons of data to figure out who's a good fit for their locker room, who's a good fit for their program. So we've partnered with Watson X of IBM fame, and they are going to power our platform, edge3.ai. So that's why we're here to promote that partnership with IBM, and I can't think of a better partner than one that's been in business, Big Blue, for over 100 years. That's right. And for them to believe in us and our concept, and with Kenyon leading the charge, it's been a tremendous ride. This is something that's been in the making for almost 4 years, and here we are able to announce this glorious partnership with IBM.
Perfect timing.
Well, it is perfect timing. Thank you. It is perfect timing considering what's going on. Yeah,
no doubt.
Hey, well, good luck with everything.
Thank you.
Always great to see you, BJ.
I enjoy you guys. Anytime you need me, holler. You have my numbers. I appreciate you, even though you get me in trouble.
I mean, like,
I'm good trouble.
Horns up, down. I ain't did nothing.
I'm going to throw this low-T center football at your ass. Okay?
I let you out the boom boom.
I'm going to knock the T. I'm going to knock the T. No, I let me out. The boom boom room with my answer.
You ain't got no key. You ain't got no key. How you get out?
My answer was the key.
Yes, it was. It's almost time for the big game. Your chance to win catering for your big game party thanks to Pig and Pie. Right now, caller number 5 to 3HL 615-737-1045. You win a super tailgate package that includes catering for up to 25 people from us and Pig and Pie. By the way, Pig and Pie, Nashville's best barbecue for 27 years. They do full range of high-end catering. You can call John for all your catering and barbecue needs. Email pigandpie@gmail.com or online at pigandpie.net. Good luck to you.
Guess what's coming up? Y'all are going to have a reaction to this. Kyle Turley and Jim McMahon, they are running for president. Jim McMahon, president. Kyle Turley, vice president. It's called the Cannabis Party. We're about to light this thing up on 3HL.
Let's go.
What's happening, folks? We're on Slay right here with Milliken Corp. I'm talking about standing on firm ground. That's right, solid ground. When you're rocking with Milliken Corp, that's exactly what they do. Real smooth concrete pavement, asphalt grading, drainage services. Does not matter. They're going to go right there, get the job done for residential, commercial, and industrial. Not job too small, too large, does not exist. Not for them. Backyard renovations, decorative concrete, stamped concrete. It doesn't get any better than this, people. You want to choose the right asphalt. Don't make the wrong choice. You need to go with Milliken Corp. First and foremost, you got to give them a call, though, 615-238-5909. And when the project manager shows up, he's going to be on site as the job is being done. I can't say that anymore clearly, people. So get involved, get to it. It's real simple to do. 24 hours, that's where your call will come back. I'm telling you the number, 615-238-5909. Not your fault if you choose the wrong asphalt. You better choose MillikenCorp.com.
3HL broadcasting live from Radio Row in Vegas. Brent Doherty, Don Davenport, and Ron Slay with you. Our thanks to Pioneer Heating and Cooling, among others. Get more information, 1045thezone.com. We've got a lot going on, and we will continue the discussion right now with a couple of former great NFL players, Kyle Turley and Jim McMahon. KT, what's up? How are you?
Good, brother. Appreciate y'all. Thank you so much for having us.
It's good to see you. We leave Nashville to come here and talk with you here.
That's right. We're on the same flight and everything.
Same flight and everything.
Yeah.
Jim McMahon.
Yes, sir.
How are you, buddy?
Well, still breathing. Still breathing. Thanks to cannabis.
When I was watching my favorite NFL team of all time, the '85 Bears, I was thinking, yep, Jim McMahon's going to run for president.
Well, that
is what's happening.
Yeah, we're trying to stir up the pot here. We're trying to
literally.
we got to get rid of this two-party system. We're running on the Cannabis Freedom Party, and we're trying to get more awareness about this plant. It's been stigmatized for so long, and people still don't realize how good it is for you. We all have a cannabinoid system in our bodies. We're supposed to be using this plant. We don't have an Oxycontin or a Percocet or Vicodin system in our body. We have a cannabinoid system, and it's the number one regulated system in your body, and it's the only patented neuroprotected on the planet. So why are these guys not able to use a plant that's actually going to help them and help them restore their bodies rather than these pills that do nothing but mask pain and kill you? Cannabis has never killed anybody.
So you're running for president. Kyle is
VP.
He's VP because he says, I'm going to take the bullet. He can slide right in.
He's got to take the bullet so that security is good for us. We've got to have good security. He's going to take the first bullet. They got to kill the guy about weed,
At what point did you guys come up with this idea, this third-party run? The Cannabis Freedom Party.
Yeah, well, there's just too much. It's so ridiculous, right? Look at our political landscape. How absurd is it, right, of our choices that we have? And then people don't know it, but The Rock's going to be the Democrat candidate. And then so, we're in the – Trump's already teed it up. He's already mentioned idiocracy in an interview, just like all the cold stuff. So it's going to happen. And so we realize that, not only does this need a third-party system, which we have no chance of winning, obviously, unless we can get some Russians or somebody to help us with some votes. I don't know. I guess that's who we got to call these days.
Turley, you never let us down at Super Bowl. You always, our social media accounts are always going to go off when you come on.
We never get a reaction. We never get a reaction.
Well,
it's crazy.
We're still talking about all these things in Tennessee, right? All these great people. There's a great audience for cannabis in Tennessee, and we're still pulling over Darius Rucker. Give me a break. That's absurd.
Yeah, I saw that one.
It might have been the South Carolina Gamecocks that made it happen, but hey,
right
in the Tennessee Vols. But this is the thing. So how far off are we? Like, can you see that in the state of Tennessee? Can you see it coming on around?
It should have happened. I had emails back and forth with the governor and I called all the police sheriffs, let them find out what them. My dad's a former police chief, FBI National Academy. He still forms posses in Arizona and works with people nationally. Mm-hmm. We've got all these people in our sport that are experiencing this. We've had all this success with getting things done, but yet there's still this stupid thing that's keeping certain people from accepting the truth. Right. And it's unfortunate. So hopefully Bill Lee listens to your show. I hope he does. I've been out after him, in a very cordial way, try to get this thing done, and hopefully we can get a meeting with him. I've asked him to support our political party. He sent emails back, we really want to support this and the people, and he's got a lighting company, so he can probably make a bunch of money lighting up some buildings, growing some plants.
Can we go back to where this all starts for both of you, though, because I think it's important for people maybe that don't know your story, Kyle. I mean, we talk about painkillers and addiction to opioids and all of that. I mean, you were in the thick of it to where, there was a time where we didn't know if you'd be sitting with us one day.
Yeah, that's real. And, that's unfortunate statistic that still plagues our community, and we deal with it daily. From our community, you wouldn't understand the people that we know that are struggling with this disease. You'd think, oh, they have everything. They've got all these restaurants. They've got all this money. And yet, you're helping them and going around them and waiting for them to get out of hospitals and stuff, and just talking to them and being there for them when they're struggling, and they're there for you. And it's a real disease that this sport creates, amidst all all the orthopedic issues that, obviously as we talk about the opiate deaths, they have to stop, and not one person's died of cannabis. So, my situation, my story I've been very open about, and it started there in Nashville. Post-career, I retired in Nashville. I started a music career. I toured the country for 6 years, coast to coast, over 100 dates, opened up for everybody under the sun, and I had to move back to California because I was in and out of the hospital at the same time, having seizures, having all kinds of health issues, dealing with this brain disease and all the things that have happened from this game. And then more importantly, what I've discovered is all the pharmaceuticals. And so all I needed to do was just get off of those. You don't need one of them. I mean, I played 10 years NFL, Jim as well or more. And all these, the age keeps coming, and we're still moving and we're still functioning on this level that keeps proving this plant out. And that's why we talk about it the way we do.
For you, Jim, kind of lift back the curtain and why it's this cause and all of this is important to you coming off of so long of playing football.
Well, like Kyle said, I mean, it's got us off the pills for one, got us feeling better, got us living better. I can remember things a lot better, a lot clearer now than I used to. We all have a cannabinoid system. We're supposed to be using this plant. We don't have an OxyContin system or a Vicodin or Percodet system in your body. But we do have a cannabinoid system. Everybody does. And once people start realizing, the truth about this plant, I think all this other crap's going to go away.
That's right.
How did you guys meet?
About 15 years ago, I was playing a concert at a Gridiron Greats event in the Super Bowl in Indianapolis, and Jim was there.
That was the first one I covered.
Was
the
it?
Indianapolis Super Bowl. Yeah.
Nice.
That's Super Bowl. Jim comes and hangs out. We were on the tour bus. I had the bus at that time. Jim comes on, we burn one down and hang out for a little while, and it
Decide to run for president.
Yeah, we talked about one day we're going to run for president. Me and you.
We're going to change the world.
That's right. And here we are, man. It's 15 years that we started with these efforts to try and address our community and all the issues that are going on with it. We all know those that played this game. Our community is suffering. We continue to suffer. All these fixes to football didn't work, and these things are still happening. So we really have to address this, and we know the answer, and the answer is cannabis. It truly is. That's why we're running for president. It's not a joke. It's real. We have the Safe Banking Act that can put $1 trillion, if it's money is your thing, put $1 trillion of cash, unbankable cash, back in the economy. We don't need that, do we? And then the descheduling down to a Schedule III drug, that has to happen this year, and they're making it a political issue. You got Fox News saying this is bad. People are killing people and going crazy, and some lady got off of murder because she killed somebody, and they said she was high on marijuana, and that got her off of murder. No, these things didn't happen. Why is this being used as this political football? It doesn't need to happen. And, the business that we've had, why can't we talk about our business? We've been turned down by so many media outlets to have interviews, but they'll support, if I had an alcohol company, they'll support Jim if he's got a dip company and he wants to go around and promote his tobacco. Yeah. They'll support everything else, but they won't let us get on other shows than the good people that are hosting these local radio shows. It's absurd.
There's always a reaction when you come on. We all agree that we're not afraid of ideas. And so, if you don't like what's being said, that's fine. Make up your mind one way or the other.
Isn't that America?
That's fine. But we're going to throw this out there and see what you think about it. You know what I mean?
Well, and more importantly, who knows? I don't want to care. I don't care what you think. I mean, I do, because you're my friend and you're people, and I want to know what you think. But what does somebody know that can help somebody? There's so many people struggling, and we have to resolve these issues in our community, because obviously the pharmaceutical industry is only fixed on one thing: is getting people addicted to a new drug. Everybody's got the Ozempic now, to get skinny. When how many people, if they found out the truth that you could just burn one down and go to the gym and you'd have a great day and you'll look amazing and your life will be back like you had it when you were young, and you'll start companies. We've got a multi-million-dollar cannabis company we started. That's easy. I've been going around. I've been in New Hampshire at all the primaries with Nikki Haley, Dean Phillips. Tried to go to the Trump rally. The line was a mile long. It's 10 degrees out there. We're
all
freezing.
Those guys glad to see you?
Yeah, they are, because they all know. We ran into Matt Gaetz in the parking lot. He's been one of the guys from the beginning 10 years ago when I went to D.C. and lobbied for this. there's real things that have to change with this, and hopefully they do, because everybody can benefit from it. And we don't have to talk about the semantics or what people think. There's a truth to this, and that's all we're saying, is the truth, and that's what should be said.
Jim McMahon, Kyle Turley running for president as a third party, the Cannabis Freedom Party, rev-mj.com.
Yeah, rev-mj.com is our website, and then you can order our hemp products at thegaspipe.net. I'm bringing one to Nashville. We're working on that location, a great partner of ours out of Dallas. And all of our hemp products are 50 state. You can order them to Tennessee, to any doorstep in any state in America, in 30 different countries. And we're exposing this plant in its full form. It's really important that happens.
Good to see you, brother.
Thank you,
Keep
guys.
pushing.
Appreciate
I know you
y'all
will.
letting us have that platform. Thank you so much.
Thanks for having us, boys.
Appreciate you, brother.
That's awesome. Rev-mj.com if you're interested. The Cannabis Freedom Party. 3HL 104.5 The Zone.